It's game time, right here, right now.
Hello and happy Friday to all of you out there, wherever you are and whenever you may be watching. Tonight's WKMC TV broadcast is a Pennsylvania Heartland Athletic Conference Division II matchup sponsored by the Mount Carmel VFW Post 2110, featuring the Central Columbia Bluejays and the Mount Carmel Area Red Tornadoes. My name's Jim Lesko. Alongside me is my brother Dan Lesko. Jose Gonzalez supports us to the sideline, and together we're coming to you live from Jazz Diminick Field at the Silver Bowl in Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania, for the Big Reds home opener on the front end here of our Labor Day weekend. Now, if you were with us last week, or you had a paper or a pulse, you recognize that maybe the outcome of the 2024 season opener for the Red Tornadoes wasn't exactly what they were looking for, but Dan, it wasn't all bad.
No, it definitely wasn't all bad. There were so many bright spots to look at. I think, and I mean, if you were with us last week, we definitely referenced a slew of them at the end of the game. But, I mean, certain ones, there were so many that I had to make a list, Jim. Certain ones that I really took notice to was the offensive line in pass protection. The run game didn't really get going against that tough North Schuylkill front, but the offensive line did a phenomenal job in pass protection. Marshalik, the first opening day start for him, did not get sacked.
No.
He didn't get sacked.
And what's crazy about that, Dan, is, again, for that game, if you remember right, the Red Tornadoes are down 30-7 somewhere midway around the second quarter.
Yeah.
And from there on out, they had to throw the football.
Yeah.
So the Spartans knew the Red Tornadoes were going to drop back and try to sling it. And that offensive line, again, it's Shimko, it's Herb, Spears, Bush, and Spears, and you Delaney, and you had Shiganowski came in as well.
Yep.
to keep Marshalik upright, and they did a heck of a job. Marshalik threw the ball 32 times.
Yeah,
and wasn't sacked.
And that's what as you mentioned, that's what the Spartans, with their ears pinned back, they're coming after, a young quarterback that doesn't have a whole lot of experience. They're coming after him. They know we're throwing the ball the entire second half. He's got that 32 times that he dropped back and put that ball in the air and didn't take a sack. To branch off of that, it wasn't all the offensive line. Gavin himself did a great job climbing the pocket, feeling pressure, and showing a little bit of escapability when he was flushed, and keeping his eyes downfield and getting the ball out when he had to. So he also was one of the bright spots that I took from last week. Is just the tremendous poise that he had throughout that game.
Marshalik completed passes to 8 different receivers last week, and the 19 completions is tied for the second most in a single game in Mount Carmel history.
Wow.
And if you know anything about last week, and we'll talk about it a little bit here as well, it's a pretty storied history at Red Tornado football.
Yeah.
But a few of those passes, at least, by my count, I think about 6 of them went to another young man by the name of Jalen Delaney. And again, we saw Delaney a lot last season, so I don't know that it's fair to say he had a coming out party, but my goodness, Dan, he looked impressive.
Yeah, and Jim, I just showed you my notes here. I had Jalen Delaney as another one of my bright spots. As you mentioned, Delaney receiving 6 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown, and the one touchdown that he had was huge, Jim. That was the spark for the Red Tornadoes. It was before halftime, time winding down, and it really kind of got the Red Tornadoes offense in gear to make the comeback, and that ultimately fell short at the end. But that was the spark that they needed. It was a beautiful pitch and catch on a post route down the seam. Marshalik laid it out there for him, and Delaney went and got it. But on the defensive side of the ball, Delaney also had another touchdown with a pick 6. So, I mean, he had a huge game all around.
We focused a lot here on the passing game last week in North Schuylkill, and we can never assume what Coach Dara's game plan is going to be, but you have to think you're going to see another heavy dosage of Marshalik dropbacks, and some of that will just be due to the unfortunate circumstances that occurred last week with All-State halfback Luke Blessing returning for a senior season at 1,300-plus yards rushing last year, and he goes down right at the end of the first half with an injury. He did not return last week. He is not available tonight. We're not sure of his status going forward.
Right.
But certainly that doesn't help things when you're trying to get a younger quarterback like Marshall up and running, and you're trying to establish the run as Coach Dara's offenses so often do.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to have that fallback, but I think tonight is going to be a good game, I think, for the Red Tornadoes to kind of feel their way through things with this offense. Last week, Coach Dara, I think, referenced it prior to last week's game, that, starting the season off with a really tough opponent is good and bad. And the good thing is that you get to see that grit, and you get to see the drive that your team has facing adversity. Now you get to come home, you're in friendlier confines. You got a chance to kind of work out some of those kinks that were found on film from last week.
Well, and as we focus on what's going on the Red Tornadoes sideline, you have to remember they're not out there by themselves tonight, and the team on the other sideline actually comes into tonight's matchup with a better record than the Red Tornadoes. The Central Columbia Bluejays were victorious in Week 1 at Midwest, 41-0, so they kind of built that lead and kept it on the back of their running backs. The ground game, 370-plus yards rushing. So, Dan, for the Red Tornadoes that gave up 4 touchdowns to Luke Miller last week, how do they go out and stop this potent attack of the Blue Jays?
Really, Jim, what you do is you just kind of you focus on that. You know what I mean? Realistically, you make Central Columbia one-dimensional. Everybody saw those stats. Everybody saw the film from last week for both sides. They know that Central's going to come out here and they're going to want to run the ball. Last week, Parker Day, Central Columbia's quarterback, was 2 of 9 for 12 yards. They did not have to throw the ball, but they really didn't. It didn't appear that they wanted to either. You know what I mean? So, if I'm coaching the Red Tornadoes defense, I am forcing Central Columbia to put the ball in the air today.
Well, and again, a lot of that depends on, the game situation dictates that, and I think if you're the Red Tornadoes and the Blue Jays come out and they throw it a lot, you have to like your chances because that means you've done a nice job stopping the run.
Right.
And so now we'll see here, we got little different festivities here at the Silver Bowl tonight. Has kind of brought in a new scoreboard, a little different entrance sequence, we'll call it.
Yeah.
So certainly, if you're in the area, you want to make sure you get down here every Friday night you can when the Big Red's at home. But I think on the other side of the ball, again, Dan, if we look, on the other side of the field with the Central Columbia Blue Jays, we talked a little bit about that rush game, but specifically, so you have Ty Regan. Ty Regan's a senior halfback. He had 17 carries for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns, as well as Aiden Huntington. He had 5 for 84 and 2 touchdowns. And Huntington, now he's going to split out wide. Number 84, you're going to see him split out wide in this. And Dan, how did you describe this Central Columbia offense? You called it like a flex pistol wing.
Yeah, it looks like a pistol wing tee with a split. You know what I mean? With a split out right wide receiver. Now they will bring that wide receiver in. They will run a tight end, kind of like a normal wing tee. But I didn't really see them under center at all. And it looks like this. Actually, I mean, if we're being realistic, it reminds me of another Columbia team of years past, Southern Columbia, running that wing tee, but they were more tight under center. This is a little bit more of a wide open, kind of an edge running offense.
And as the Red Tornadoes take the field, and we'll get ready to get started here in just a few moments, again, it would be irresponsible of us not to recognize, again, the more larger importance of tonight's game in a historical context. Again, the Red Tornadoes are going to take their 3rd shot here at win number 900. They're sitting at 899. They'll be the first team in the state of Pennsylvania to hit that 900 mark as the Red Tornadoes continue atop the winningest teams in Pennsylvania board. I believe they'll be the 7th in the nation to hit that mark. And again, as we said, they will have to do it without not just Luke Blessing, but we talked about that offensive line. And number 55, Logan Erb, is also unavailable tonight. So the Red Tornadoes will have to see how they adapt to that cog on the offensive line. And again, Erb does a nice job on the defensive line as well. And how they can adapt going forward tonight in what will likely be a very physical matchup with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, one of the things that you definitely see from We talked about, kind of the Red Tornadoes wanting to try to establish some sort of a run game. They didn't have any success on the ground last week. They're going to want to come out here and establish a run game early, would be my guess. You don't want Gavin, you don't want Marshalik to have to throw the ball 32 times a game every game. That's a lot to ask for any quarterback. So they want to really focus on getting that run game going, and obviously you're without your leading returning rusher, all-stater last year, and now you're without one of your returning offensive linemen. So it's going to make it a little bit tougher sledding. But I think if Coach Dara, I know he's got something up his sleeve, some sort of scheme to kind of go against this 3-4 defense of the Blue Jays.
Captains will head to midfield for the coin toss for the Red Tornadoes, left to right. It's going to be 77 Noah Shimko, 2 Matt Belichick, 24 Luke Blessing, and 28 Al Bailey. On the other side of the field for the Blue Jays, left to right from our angle, it's going to be number 84 Alex Zeisloft. Oh, I didn't see. I lost the order there, Dan. 26 is Ty Regan.
And then 57.
57 is Cole Hummer.
And then 54.
And 54 is Cordell Hegenstaller. So we'll see the outcome here again. You see Blessing, no pads, no contact. Wish him all the best. Wait for the head officials' signal here. Red Tornadoes won the toss. They elect to defer to the second half. So we'll see that Central Columbia offense first.
Yeah, and it is an interesting, we talked about it. It's the first time I've seen it in a long time. It kind of reminded me somewhat, I might be dating myself a little bit, but like the way Nevada used to run their wing T offense, the Wolfpack. But like I said, it's going to be out of a pistol set, so there's going to be a little bit more room for the backfield to kind of get going.
You threw me for a loop with the Nevada because now my head's just spinning. Is that Colin Kaepernick?
I think so.
I think so too. Somebody will know if it is or isn't.
Yeah.
But we'll get started here now. Again, a little bit different from last week. That's the other thing. We've got a game time temperature of about 66 degrees, which if you're just looking at the mercury in your thermometer, maybe it's not a huge change from a week ago, but my goodness, the feel is much different.
Yeah, last week the sun was blaring down on us. It was very warm, especially on the turf over there at North Schuylkill. Now we're back here on this nice lush grass out here at the Silver Bowl, and it's a little bit cooler, and it feels like football season, Jim. It
does. It really does, and it certainly doesn't stop the Red Tornado faithful from coming out in full force here. Again, we said the home opener. Shoppy will kick off for the Red Tornadoes. He'll be kicking towards the south end zone. Trying to get a look at. For the Blue Jays, they have one man back. Looks like 28. 28 is Huntington. The second line is, it looks like Gombert, Chapelski. I can't see who's on the far side. But Shoppy's kick is going to be short. It's going to take a hard left out of bounds. Now, Lukuski was down there pretty close. I thought he had a chance of recovering that one.
Yeah.
He gave it everything he could, but it just
did.
kicked out of bounds. And so it'll be an infraction on the Red Tornadoes, their first play of the night here, and set up decent field position for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Jim. Now that one gets to the sideline, it gets out of bounds. But there's a lot of space between the deep back and that second line. If Shoppy can drop one in over there at some point tonight with the way Lukuski ran down the field, they might have a chance to get one of those.
Red Tornado defensive line, it's going to be Karicki, Shiganowski, and Shimko to start. Look, we'll see here. Red Tornadoes do some shifting based on how the Blue Jays come out. And Parker Day is going to hand it off, and we're going to get a stoppage right away here. Have to think this is going to be a false start.
Yeah, I would think so.
Wait for the official signal, and there it is. So, couple of plays here and a couple of penalties, one each way.
Now, Jim, something that you want to I just want to point out there. He had some room. Regan had some room there on the right side. It seemed like a lot of the Red Tornado defense flowed with the motion, and they went opposite. Little counter play.
And it's Regan again. Nice tackle there made by 29.
Yep.
Ben Miller, excuse me.
Really nice play there by Miller. Did a good job just staying home, was there for the cutback. As soon as Regan decided to put his foot in the ground and kind of try to get upfield, he didn't have much room to do it.
Regan will pick up about 4, second and 11. And you see Zeisloff split out to the field side here. Schultz is split out to the sideline. Day to throw. He's looking for Schultz. Excuse me, that's Huntington. And he's got him, but a short gain. A nice play made over there. Looks like Karicki's involved. Made his way out there pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, it was a quick pass, so that's always good for defensive linemen. And when you can hold them up, you usually have a defensive lineman that's at full steam heading to the sideline. So that was a good job by the Red Tornado defense there, slowing that one up right away and not giving much up.
3rd and 8, ball's around the 37-yard line. It's a trip set to the left. And they send Regan out the way. They're going to. But Bulichik blows it up. Bulichik read it every second of the way. Matt Bulichik came right through and stuck Regan.
That is a great play by Matthew Bulichik. Just seeing it all the way. You as soon as Day took the snap, he looked, threw it out there, and as the ball got there, Bulichik got there. He made a great play. And credit to Huntington for hanging on to that football.
Schultz punting. It's going to be Delaney and Kimsel back deep for the Big Red. That's going to be in Delaney's direction. It's a boot. Delaney takes it over his shoulder about the 21. He gets up the sideline. It's a nice job. He gets across the 30. They'll say that he stepped out of bounds, and now there's going to be a late infraction here on the Red Tornadoes. It's going to cost them 15. So Delaney is a good return of about 11 yards out to the 32, but that's going to take the Red Tornadoes back inside their own 20.
Yeah, we'll see this Red Tornado offense. We'll see how they decide to come out to start things off. Like I said, I think it's important for the Red Tornadoes early in this game to find their way on the ground, to establish a run game.
Just as expected, that Red Tornado offensive line with Herb on the sideline is going to consist of Delaney, Spears, Delaney, Spears, Shiganowski, Shimko,
and Demko.
I was trying to say, who am I missing? Not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, Demko will be the anchor right in the middle there at center.
So left to right, it's going to go Delaney, Spears, Demko, Shiganowski, and Shimko.
Yeah.
Marshall in the gun. He's got Kimsel back with him for the first time tonight. Expect to see a nice doses of both Kimsel and likely 21 Cooper Karicki.
Yes.
Adams and Delaney to the left, and it's going to be Kimsel right off the bat. And he's got a little bit of space in the middle. Nice run out to the 30-yard line. Pick up of about 13 for the Red Tornado first down.
And Jim, I love to see that. Like I mentioned, I really think it's going to be important for the Red Tornadoes to find their way on the ground. So I like the way Coach Darris started things off there. A nice run by Kimsel.
Now a quick shot from Marshall to Bulichik, first down. It's on first down, that is. Get across the 35 to around the 30, about the 37-yard line.
Yeah, and everybody's hustling back to the line. This is that speed of the Red Tornado offense here. That's right up on the ball, ready to move.
Delaney and Adams to the field side. That's Bailey and Bulichik to the sideline. And this time it's Kimsel again, and he's running right behind Delaney and Shimko. Ooh. Lowers his shoulder to finish the run, and he's in Blue Jay territory.
Yeah, that's a great run by Kimsel. And you know, we talked about the thing that Kimsel and Karicki don't really have that Blessing did was his size. But Kimsel doesn't care how big or small he is. He's putting his shoulder down to finish in a run.
And now we'll see Karicki for the first time, and Karicki gets skinny to get through. And he's still on his feet, running through arm tackles. He's all the way down to about the 26-yard line. It's going to be a gain of around 22 on his first carry of the night.
That's a great run there by Karicki. And, I mean, it seems like these Red Tornadoes can do whatever they want up front right now. They are moving the ball on the ground at will.
And Marshall's going to throw. He's got Bulichik. It's a little high. Bulichik lowers his shoulder. Does a great job of completing the catch, but there's a flag in the middle of the field. We'll have to see what that is. And it's a hold against the Red Tornadoes. That's Marshall got that ball out of his hand pretty quick.
Yeah, so that was, yeah. You know, I get it. I don't know where the hold was or where it was, but I saw it. The Blue Jays were bringing an inside blitzer, and credit to Gavin Demko. He got that snap back there and got hit immediately and picked up that blitzer, gave Marshall plenty of time and a clean pocket to throw that ball.
Makes it back to a 1st and 18. Marshall to throw again, and he's looking for Adams, and it's up, and he's got him! And it's a perfect ball! That's a perfect ball by Marshall. A great catch by Adams, and it's 6-0 Red Tornadoes on a 36-yard touchdown pass.
What a tremendous pass and catch, Jim. That looked like there was no way that ball was getting over that deep safety. And just the touch on it, Jim. That ball, it looked like it hung up in the air an extra second or two, more than it should have, to get over the head of the safety and into the outstretched arms of Tate Adams. It's a great pitch and catch there from Marshall to Tate Adams.
Now Adams will hold for Shoppy. He's going to drill that through, and it's 7-0 here at the Silver Bowl in week 2 of the 2024 high school football season.
Yeah, Jim, I mean, that's exactly what the doctor ordered for the Red Tornadoes to get started here. After getting off to such a slow start in the first half last week against North Schuylkill, you defer to the second half to get the ball, so you put your defense on the field first. They get a big stop, and then you take the ball and you drive 80-plus yards down the field.
Yep.
And put points on the board. That's a huge start.
83-yard drive after the penalty on the punt return.
Tremendous job there by the offense. All around, too. I mean, the run game looked great. The passing game looked great. Not a ball hit the ground. Even the one that got called blown dead there for the holding penalty or brought back was still completed to Belichick. And I mean, the offensive line is just working in there. They're handling the inside linebackers blitzing. They're doing a great job with their blitz pickup. It looks like they're communicating well out there. And there's holes out there that I could run through, Jim.
Well, I don't know about that.
Jog through. That's probably all I got left in the tank.
And so I got to give Dan a little bit of credit here. He pointed out the gap between the second and third line for the Blue Jays last time, and they added another returner, and he's going to have trouble with it. He picks it up on a hop, which is a nice effort there. That's number 15, Tanner Regan.
Tanner, yeah.
So it'll be 1st and 10 Blue Jays right about the 29-yard line.
Yeah, they added another guy back there, but they didn't really close the gap at all. So it's still an open area there. If Shoppy can get some hang time on one of these, some super hang time, somebody go down there and catch one.
Red Tornadoes see that defensive backfield. Morganti, Kimzel. We'll have to wait a second as the handoff is to Ty Regan. And it's a nice job there by
Ben Miller. Ben Miller is roving all over the inside of that field. And it seems like the Blue Jays are trying to spread the Red Tornado defense out. They know how tough they are in the middle. They're trying to spread them out and open things up in the run game. But Ben Miller, those inside linebackers, Ben Miller, Keegan Brown, they're doing a great job flowing sideline to sideline and really stopping that for a short gain.
Ben Miller had 103 tackles last season, and he started off on a torrid pace with 10 last week.
Yep.
A little motion there, a little bit early by the Blue Jays. That'll cost them 5. It's going to be 2nd and 12. Again, those Red Tornadoes, that defense, again, you see Miller and Keegan Brown in the middle. You got Al Bailey and Matt Belichick are the defensive, those outside linebackers, defensive ends. Dan, you're better talking through that than I am, but that's essentially where I see them.
Yeah, I think this is, I think Coach Dara runs a 3-4 defense, but 85% of the time you're going to see those outside linebackers walked up on the line, make it look like a 5-2.
And it's going to be Morganti, Kimzel, Belichick, and Lukuski as the 4 deep men. And that one's going to be Gombert. And Gombert's got some space on the right side. He's going to get run out of bounds. He just runs out of space.
Yeah.
But a nice effort there by the Blue Jays.
But he did. There was a nice crease out there. They had a few blockers out in front for him, and it was a lot more than I originally anticipated. It looked like the Red Tornadoes were flowing to the ball well, and then there kind of a gap there opened up. So somebody sealed that off there. I didn't get a chance to see who it was, but credit to whoever it was. If it was a receiver coming inside on like a crack block or whatever it was, sealed it really nice and make this a 3rd and manageable for the Blue Jays.
3rd and 3 from 37, 7:35 left in the first quarter. And this is going to be Chipoleski. He's going to be short, waiting. Dan says first down. But what do the officials say? First down.
Yeah.
So good, nice work there.
That was a nice, that looked a little kind of like old school Coach Dara Red Tornado offense, like the inside Sally play there.
Yeah.
I didn't notice the line movement, but it's essentially get everybody going one way and give the guy the ball going back the other.
Day's going to throw. He's going up top. There's all Red Tornadoes there, and it's incomplete. Kimsel and Morganti playing defense against each other on that one.
Yes.
As I think it was such good coverage. They were both in the air. I think if only one of them was there, it might have been going Red Tornado direction.
I totally agree, Jim. It looked like, and they're talking with each other right now. It looked like Kimsel kind of got a beat on it right at the very end as Morganti closed the distance to get a hand on it. Great defensive play all around. But you're right. I think if either one of them doesn't get there, that's Red Tornado football. Kimsel turned into a receiver there. You saw on the replay.
They was trying to get that to Chipoleski, excuse me. And now it's Regan up the middle. He's going to have a first down. He's got some space. He can move. Red Tornado's going to run him down from behind, but not before he gets into Red Tornado territory, all the way down to the 17-yard line. It's going to be about a 43-yard run.
Yeah, Jim, I mean, that's a huge run there by Ty Regan, and that's what all that window dressing kind of gives you in the backfield. You get all that extra movement. You got guys going different ways, and a lot of the times, by the time the ball's snapped and handed off, you don't know who has the ball. So it's really tough. I mean, it's a well-designed offense, and I mean, it's very well evidenced that they have they execute it pretty well, looking at their stats from last week.
We get another illegal motion penalty, false start against the Blue Jays. And again, they flop them around a little bit of exactly how they're going to line up, but for the most part, that backfield, it's Regan, it's going to be Ty Regan. We've seen a lot of Chipoleski. It's Huntington. It's Gombert.
Yeah.
Right now, again, it looks like Gombert's the odd man out. Day's going to throw, and he's looking for.
No.
Oh, my goodness. And there's a great defensive play made by Belichick, but it's going to be likely a defensive penalty.
Yeah,
and
which
can't
is
quite see who was running that wheel route over there.
It was, I believe it was Huntington.
28.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm pretty sure
yep.
Huntington came from his wing spot on a little wheel route. But Belichick's going after the football there.
Well, the ball, yeah, it's a pass interference against the Red Tornadoes there. And again, that's a tough one because really the ball's a little bit underthrown.
Yes.
So you have that situation where Huntington's trying to get back to the ball. Belichick, by rights, has a right to the football as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
As it looks like as Huntington tries to come through Belichick winds up with the pass interference. But again, good coverage out there by Chase.
Yeah, really, really well done defensively.
That's going to bring the ball to the 10. And they're going to run that little swing pass for Huntington, incomplete. Day led him just a little bit too much, and it'll be second down.
And you got to always watch those ones. It seems because that's kind of could be a backwards pass depending on where that ball lands. So that's always a tough one. You don't want to miss on that throw.
Ball sits just outside the 10-yard line. Second down. So again, same look from the Blue Jays. They're not going to switch it up too much tonight. Day is going to turn around and he hands it to Huntington, but the Red Tornadoes are ready for that one. Good job standing him up right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I believe he was initially slowed up by Max Karicki, who then came and got back in on that tackle with a host of Red Tornadoes there.
You see Ben Miller there as well, as he will be all night. But, we talked about Miller. Miller had 103 tackles last season. That was tied for second on the team.
Yeah.
Tied for second with who? Max Karicki.
Max Karicki, yep.
Miller was second in tackles last week at North Schuylkill with 10. Who was first?
Max Karicki.
With 11. Bingo. So 9 and 29 are a devastating combination up the middle there for the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, those guys always seem to find their way to the ball.
Now we're going to get a timeout here from the Blue Jays as they Coach Smith wants to take a minute to think this over on the 3rd and 10 from the 11.
And then, Jim, this is another one of those situations where I always like them because I'd like to see Central get a first down, not a touchdown. I feel like you got a lot less room to play with there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's more of a skill-based option there.
Yeah, if you're not looking to score points, it's definitely be a good skill competition. But
again, so we're here at the Silver Bowl. We got a timeout. Timeout here. It's 7-0, somewhere in the first quarter. 5:32 left in the first quarter. The Blue Jays, again, we said they face 3rd and 10 from the 11. We want to make sure that we thank tonight's sponsor, Mount Carmel VFW Post 2110. A lot of good experience in the VFW Post 2110 building here in Mount Carmel, right, Dan?
Yeah. A lot of pizza parties and stuff there after playing Little League Baseball for them.
A lot of championships. Now I get to enjoy watching my son play for them. Always been a proud supporter of youth sports here, so we thank VFW Post 2110 for their continued support.
Absolutely.
So here we go, 3rd and 10, ball at the 11. Regan behind Day. Gombert's back in there. Day's going to throw, he rolls out, he's going to flip back to the right. It's Schultz, and it's a great play by the Blue Jays, and it's 7-6 on the 11-yard touchdown pass from Day to Schultz. And Dan, and everybody looking one way, and they threw it the other.
Yeah. They call that the Kansas City Shuffle, right? That's a great, a very well-designed football play. That reminded me a little bit of the old Red Tornadoes kind of throwback, rollout throwback that they used to run when Tom Reisinger was here, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
McGuire Blake's extra point is good, so 5:26. We're knotted at 7 here at the Silver Bowl. And Dan, one thing that I think is worth mentioning, we talked about the Blue Jays victorious last week versus Midwest. They come into tonight's game 1-0. This is a team that won one game last season.
Yeah.
They won one, but the biggest thing is if you look at the numbers from last season, the defense was pretty solid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The Blue Jays only gave up about 19 points a game last season. They had a little trouble finding the end zone at different times, but this is only year 3 for Coach Smith.
Okay.
And you can kind of see those kids have bought into what he's bringing to the table. And, again, when you start to have a little bit of that success, you get more and more athletes, you get more and more opportunities here, and the Blue Jays seem to be turning the corner.
100%, Jim, and that's very, very well said, because that's what you need. I mean, you need some security. I shouldn't say security, just consistency is the big thing. And I mean, you got guys. So if this is Coach Smith's 3rd year, that means that guys that were freshmen when he started there are now juniors. They know his system. They know how his offenses ran, how his defenses ran, and they continue to improve. And they looked so good last week against Midwest, and pretty darn good so far this week.
Blake's kick is going to be taken at about the 12 by Lukuski. He's going to come all the way across the field. He's going to take a late hit. Luckily, he's going to pop up. So it's a good return by Lukuski to get out across the 30 to about the 31, and they're going to add 15 to that.
Yeah.
So the Red Tornadoes will be up over the 45 when they start their drive.
Yeah, they're going to be threatening Blue Jay territory. And I mean, Lukuski ran a long way to get to where he was at, coming from all the way on the other side of the field. But credit to him because he saw where the opening was.
Right.
Because of the distance he had to travel to get there, he wasn't able to get the edge. But it's a great job.
Get the ball out to the 46-yard line. Yeah, that's pretty close to a sideline to sideline for,
yeah.
for Lukuski there. So we'll see what Marshall and company bring to the table here on their second drive of the night. It's going to be motion.
No, that's going to be offsides. 54 lined up over the ball.
As I said, going to be motion on the defense.
Oh, okay. All right.
Give me a second.
All right.
Or at least let me talk something I can be wrong, and then you can laugh when I'm wrong.
All right.
If you catch me too early, I can correct myself.
I wanted to get out in front of it, you know what I mean?
So that 5-yard penalty will put the Red Tornadoes into Blue Jay territory at the 49-yard line. And the Red Tornadoes return to kick and then have 20, or plus 20 from that spot without having snapped the football, really.
Yeah.
Marshall's going to throw. He gets it out to Delaney. Delaney does a great job, one-handed catch.
Wow.
Does a good job weaseling his way through. But there is a flag on the far side of the field in the area of what looks like a hold is my guess.
Yeah, we're going to have to get a look at it. I mean.
And that's what it is, the hold against the Red Tornadoes.
Okay. But anyway, Delaney with the one-handed snag, he pulled that one out of thin air to reel that one in.
Well, I think he figured last week using two hands was maybe too easy for him.
Yeah, I think so.
So we'll just use one today. So now, based on where the hold was and the result of the play and all those fun things that go on, the ball's going to be moved just behind the sticks. So the ball's going to go from the original sticks, it's going to go back to the 44 of the Red Tornadoes. So it's first and about 12. Marshall hands it off to Karicki, and Karicki tries to pick his way, but a nice job there by the Blue Jays. He's going to be drugged down to the turf by, it looked like, number 65, Baron Oyer, after a gain of 3.
Yeah, the Blue Jays did a good job moving to the football there. Karicki initially looked like he had the edge, and then they sealed it off. He had to cut back inside.
Marshall keeps it himself this time. Gets a good block from Delaney, a great block from Belichick down the field. And Marshall shows that you have to respect him on those option reads.
And that is huge, Jim, for this Red Tornado rushing game, too, because that was something that we weren't sure if they were going to have this year. They had it last year with Cole Spears. Cole Spears was the epitome of a dual threat. He could run it, he could throw it. Marshall showing that he's not afraid to run it either, and he's got some speed. That's big for the offense.
He's got a pretty good hard count, too, as it looks like the Blue Jays jumped again.
I think that's something that they have to work on, because we've seen Coach Dara get a free 5 yards at least. It's at least once a game, It seems like.
So now it's going to take the ball to the 30-yard line. Kricky's still in there. Sidecar to Marshall. Marshall's going to give it to him. Cricky picks his way, and he finds a nice lane. He takes a shot.
The ball's out.
The ball is out. I think the Red Tornadoes may have been able to get back on it because the Blue Jays don't seem too excited. Red Tornadoes do fall on it. Is that Shiganowski down there?
Yeah.
And it'll be 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes, but Cricky got popped.
He did. He took a shot, and I'm assuming with the way it looked like that ball came out, it had to have been a helmet that got on that ball.
Now it's right up the middle to Bailey. He'll pick up maybe a yard, not a whole lot there. See, looks like Schultz coming up off the bottom. But Dan, I've noticed, and you called this out initially, they're firing the Blue Jays are firing those linebackers. That's where Schultz is coming from.
Yeah, pretty much every play, one of those inside backers is coming. The Red Tornadoes have been doing a really good job picking it up, though, especially in the pass protection.
And there's Cricky, and what a nice move, Cricky, and he is in, and it's 13-7 Red Tornadoes. Cricky good from about 19 yards.
Yeah, that is a phenomenal run there by Cooper Karicki, and just another great drive. I mean, a couple penalties kind of slowed things down for both teams there, but the Red Tornadoes come out with 6 points, and Shoppy on here to make it 7.
Good snap, good hold, kick is up, and that is good. So it's 14-7 Big Red here, still in the first quarter at the Silver Bowl. 3:50 left in our opening period.
Yeah, Jim, this is kind of how things went last week. The first quarter's moving pretty slow here. A lot of stoppages. It's still early in the season.
I don't mean to cut you off,
No,
Dan,
you're
but
good.
I feel like this is important. I'm watching something. I just watched something happen on the sideline, and we talked about Blessing, the senior, the All-State running back, the captain, who's got to just be devastated that he's not out there tonight. But is he pouting? Is he being upset? No. I was just watching him talk to Cooper Cricky about how to secure the football.
That's exactly what you want. That's why the kid was selected to be a captain this year. You know what I mean? He's a leader out there on the field. He's vocal. You know, he does everything. He's got the intangibles that you want in a guy that's going to be a man amongst boys out there, essentially. You know, they put a lot of trust in their captains to kind of handle stuff throughout the games. You know, nobody wants to listen to their coach if you make a mistake. You know you're going to hear it. It's always good to have that captain, that leader that's, you know, a peer, take you aside and talk to you about it. And he probably told him at the end, but hey, you made up for it.
He certainly did. Another good kick from Shoppy. That's going to be Tanner Regan at the 9, and Morgani's got him. Morgani saw him the whole way. He set his hips, he slowed down, and he delivered a blow.
That's a huge play there from Morgani. I mean, that because Morgani, I don't believe he's the gunner on this side, but he did exactly what you're supposed to do. He closed the gate. That was a contained tackle. You know what I mean? He wasn't going to let him put his foot in the ground and get around him. He was going to continue to go into that sideline, or he was going to get tackled by John Morgani.
Blue Jays had some success through the air last drive. We'll see if Coach Smith opts to air it out yet again.
And I think the passing game has kind of opened things up in the run game for them so far.
A little bit of a miscommunication there, it looked like. Half the offense was moving before the ball was snapped. Cost the Blue Jays 5. That I think adds to the timing, that it seems like the first quarter's a little slow.
Yeah, and the other thing that we see a lot of motion penalties on the Blue Jays, but there's a lot of movement before the snap that has to happen. So it's all just timing. It's only week 2. They're still probably working on their timing with a fairly new backfield in there.
And Day's going to throw, and he's looking, and he's got Zeisloft. It looked like it maybe bounced off his shoulder pads. Delaney was in good coverage, but Zeisloft had gotten inside.
Yes.
But it's incomplete.
Yeah, and that was the thing. I mean, with Zeisloft having that inside leverage, Delaney's in essentially perfect coverage. He can't be in much better coverage, but Zeisloft had him boxed out. Just had to reel that one in. Wasn't able to do it.
Be 2nd and 15. The ball is about the 14-yard line. So Day. I believe that's Sarinsky, number 7, split out to the right this time. But it's going to be a delayed handoff, and that's Ty Regan. He's going to fight his way. He's still on his feet. Still on his feet. Oh, my goodness.
What a run.
What an individual effort. He's going to get out to about the 24-yard line, but he probably shouldn't have made it past the 17.
You're right, Jim. Yeah, and that's a sprint draw is what that is. That's a sprint out by the quarterback with a draw coming back against the grain. And, I mean, it was run to perfection. We do have a flag on the play here. We'll see what that is. Curious to see if there's a face. There was a lot of contact with
face mask, horse collar.
Yeah, something along those lines, unless it was against the Blue Jays. A lot of possibilities.
There you go, Dan.
It's going to be against the Red Tornadoes.
Face mask. Good call, Dan. The 5-yard variety.
Yeah. And it's going to be just short of a first down.
So it'll be, what, about a yard here. Now the Blue Jays look a little more open. Day's going to throw it, and he's got it out there, and he's got it. That's a rocket. A nice reception made. Wasn't sure who was in the slot. That's Huntington.
Yeah.
For a first down.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get much because the Red Tornadoes did a really good job of flowing the ball, but it was all he needed for a first down. They were able to kind of move the chains with that, and they're right back up on the ball now.
Again, the Blue Jays want to throw this. It's going to be Day looking for Zeisloft again, but Delaney is following him everywhere and was again right in his back pocket.
Yeah, Jim, and I mean, Day was under pressure pretty much immediately after taking the snap. Did a really good job of kind of breaking out of the pocket, stepping up, getting outside. But that's so tough to be moving to your right and then throw that cross body back across the field. And that's a tough play all around. Good job by the Red Tornadoes in coverage. But you're right. The Blue Jays seem to be putting an emphasis on putting the ball in the air.
2nd and 10, ball's about the 34-yard line. It's low snap. Day's got to pick it up. He's going to try to move. He throws it. Just gets it out of his hand. I'm trying to see who he threw it to. It wasn't really necessarily anybody. It was in the grasp. Huntington, I think, is close enough to that for it not to be a grounding play.
Yeah, they pointed to Huntington, but he was probably just close enough.
So you see it on the replay. The snap's low. Day thinks he has a second, but Al Bailey says, no, you don't. And the ball was about 3 feet from being either in Kimzel or Delaney's hands and very possibly going the other way.
Yeah.
So it'll be 3rd and 10 now.
The only downside to the passing game is that now you got 2 straight incompletions. Now you're looking at 3rd and long.
Day under pressure. He rolls out, and he's got Bailey again's got him. And Bailey spins into the turf. Day thought he could get around 28, and Bailey said, no, sir. It's 4th down.
And that's a great play because Bailey coming off that edge, he's coming. The motion was from that direction, so Bailey's following that motion. He's a blitzer at that point, coming from that outside linebacker spot. He's in coverage. Your guy goes across. Now you're blitzing. You're not running through the defense. So that's tough to keep contained, and he almost lost it, but he said, nope, I'm not going to get in trouble in film session. I'm going to make this tackle.
I always think about how strong your hands must be to hang it. And it's low snap on the punt, but Schultz does a nice job of getting it out. Now, it won't necessarily be his longest punt of the season, but it could have been disastrous for the Blue Jays, and he does a phenomenal job. Actually, it stayed in bounds longer than I thought.
Yeah.
So it's down to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the fact getting that one out at all is a feat in itself. So great job by Schultz getting rid of that one. But the Red Tornadoes still pretty decent starting field position here.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Red Tornadoes at their own 45. And you'll notice now with Marshall is Kimzel. So it'll be curious to see as we go forward here in Blessing's absence, are those guys going to rotate series? It's a high snap. And the Blue Jays may have it, and I believe they do. And so the center quarterback exchange problems that plagued the Red Tornadoes last week rear their heads again here as we're not yet out of the first quarter. 2:03 left. The Red Tornadoes do lead, but now the Spartans, excuse me, see, I am thinking about last week.
Right.
The Blue Jays take over at the Red Tornado 41-yard line.
And Jim, the thing with that one is that could have been worse. Marshalik went up and tried to knock that one down to himself. Unfortunately, not a very convenient hop for the Red Tornadoes. Bounced kind of offline there, but that could have been 15 yards over Marshalik's head. So that's you take the good with the bad. Yes, you turn the ball over, but they still got 40 yards to go.
We're gonna get a whistle. We're gonna get a timeout from the Blue Jays.
They were really, really close to a delay of game there. You saw everybody kind of sprint out of the huddle.
Well, we'll take this stoppage here again. And thank VFW Post 2110 for their support tonight. And, we certainly appreciate all of you wherever you are listening, whether you're at home because you're not local, or perhaps you're up, I don't know, in Jim Thorpe eating some pizza, enjoying yourself. Could be anywhere. tonight, but we're happy you chose to spend your Friday night with us. Here we are live at the Silver Bowl. Again, the Red Tornadoes lead the Blue Jays 14-7. And we are still in the first quarter. Meanwhile, some other teams in the area. North Schuylkill leads Tamaqua 7-6. Danville up 21-0 versus Mifflinburg, who's the Red Tornadoes' opponent next week. Southern Columbia up 21-0 against Loyalsock. Again, the Tigers looking to avenge last week's loss as well. Interestingly enough, I'd be curious to see when the last time was the Red Tornadoes and the Tigers lost on the same week.
Yeah.
On the same Friday, same weekend. And then also they both lost to Spartans.
Yeah, they did.
Right.
It's interesting.
And in similar fashion in a lot of ways, where both teams made some mistakes early, kind of righted the ship in the second half, but weren't able to come all the way back. But now we're back to play here in the Silver Bowl. Parker Day takes a snap, he goes straight back, and he's looking downfield, and he's looking for Sarinsky, and it's a little short. It's a jump ball, incomplete. I thought for a second Blichik had it, but it falls to the turf. Good coverage by Blichik and Lukuski.
Very well defended, because that looked like sort of like a shot play. You get the big turnover, you're in plus territory. Let's take a shot. Looked like a 4 verticals route, essentially. If you're playing NCAA, I think that's what it's called, or all go maybe. But there were 2 receivers in the area of where the ball came down, but also 2 Red Tornado defenders, and all 4 of them kind of converged at the ball at the same time. And nobody came down with it, which is good for the Red Tornadoes.
Now Zeisloff's the only receiver on that side. There's 2 backs. And Day's going to keep it himself, but Kimsel's out there, and Kimsel read it the whole way, didn't give up the edge, and Day's only going to pick up 2.
Now, Jim, is that a broken play?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because if so, credit to Parker Day for pulling that down. I mean, you see here, it looks like somebody was supposed to go behind, and they went in front, but either way, Parker Day, I mean, did a really good job and turned it into a positive play. Because a lot of times when quarterbacks do that, they'll kind of look around, not know what to do with it. Parker Day just said, okay, there's nobody here, I'm going to tuck it and go.
Well, and again, I think if Kimsel bites a little bit harder, Day's got some room on that side.
Yes, he does.
Because Isoft cleared out that side of the field. And now it's going to be Regan. And Regan, my goodness.
He runs tough.
Regan, more like Riggins, John Riggins. And he gets down to the 36. So it is going to be 4th and about 5.5.
Well, you know, we were talking more real-life running backs. I was thinking of a fictional running back that wore number 26, Don Billingsley, Friday Night Lights.
I think that's 2 weeks in a row we brought up Friday Night Lights.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? It's a perfect movie for this time of the year.
Let's see if Coach Smith has the perfect play for this time in the game. 4th and 4. Day's going to throw. He's looking in the direction, but he's going to take a shot. Now a great effort by Schultz to come back. It's a first down. The ball pops out at the end, but they're going to say he was down. So my goodness, Day was under pressure. He took a shot, flipped the ball out just enough on it.
Yeah,
you see here, it looks like it's Blichik, and it's just out there to Schultz.
He shot-putted that out there, and Schultz did a really good job of. Schultz knew where the sticks were. He was at the sticks. He had to come back for that ball and then fall backwards to get that first down, and he did a really good job of just awareness, field awareness, and situational awareness there. Good job by both Parker Day and Schultz.
And that's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter here at the Silver Bowl, where the Red Tornadoes lead the visiting Central Columbia Blue Jays 14-7 in a Pennsylvania Heartland Athletic Conference Division II matchup early on in the 2024 season. And Dan, as I'm watching that play with Schultz, I quickly went back because I knew he was a big kid, and I wanted to see, couldn't remember exactly how big. So he's listed as 6'3", 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And as I watched that play, my immediate thought goes to, does he play basketball? Because he just boxed out Lukuski.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Absolutely what he did.
Used his big body to shield him a little bit and just grabbed the football with his hands and fell backwards.
And I mean, again, I'm going to reference my video games, but that's a stick route. That's what it is. It's get to the sticks, put your foot in the ground and turn around, and you can have a defender draped all over your back. But as long as that ball's delivered where it needs to be, you're going to make that catch and get those yards.
So now when the second quarter starts here, it'll be 1st and 10 at the 31 for the Blue Jays. The Red Tornadoes have looked both world beater and a bit discombobulated at times tonight, which I think, again, is just more early season jitters.
Yeah.
But Day's going to roll out to the left. There's nobody there for him to, excuse me, there's no deep coverage there for him because Bailey was in his face right away and the ball falls incomplete.
Yeah, and I mean, credit to Bailey for applying that pressure, because he had two receivers in that pattern that had some open space over there. The ball kind of dropped in between the two of them because of the pressure applied there by Bailey.
2nd and 10 now. Zeisloff comes in for the Blue Jays. He brings the play to Day. Again, that Red Tornado defense looks pretty much like it has the last couple times we called it out. That interior defensive line. Oftentimes you'll see Urban there, but with him out, it's going to be mostly Karicki, Shiganowski, and Shimko. That was
Gombert, I think, Jim.
Yep.
And that's another tough run.
Down to about the 25-yard line and bring up 3rd and 3.
Yeah, really nice run there by Gombert, because it looked like it was kind of hemmed in. The Red Tornadoes stayed home. There was a lot of red jerseys over there, but he was able to kind of wiggle his way through and shed off a couple arm tackles to make that a nice gain.
So again, you'll see, it's the nice thing about what Coach Smith and the Blue Jays have done is on a 3rd and 3, I don't really know which direction they're going to go here.
Yeah.
Certainly a little more open to the left. You might see Day throw, roll out the way. He's looking that direction. He's got a good pocket, and he's looking, and he had Huntington. Just got a little misunderstanding there, miscommunication. Huntington was looking for more of a corner, and it looked like Day might have thrown a little bit of a post or a seam.
Yeah, look, and I'm not sure. It didn't look like the ball came out of Day's hand properly. A little wobbly coming out there, so not sure if it was a grip problem. There was a lot of pressure coming up the middle, right in Day's face too. But now again, this is another big 4th down play here for the Blue Jays on this drive.
But it is, and it's a nice play call by Coach Smith, because again, it goes to show, it just kind of puts another thing the Red Tornadoes have to think about on this play.
Yeah, and that he also knows that he's got 2 plays.
Day's going to throw, and he's looking for Huntington, and it's short. I'm not sure. I thought Karicki might have had a hand on that, but I think he'd be yelling a little bit more if he did. So Day's pass is going to fall at the feet of Huntington, and the Red Tornadoes are going to take over 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line, excuse me.
Yeah, now we'll see here. There's a lot of time here. Just started the second quarter. It's a long first quarter, but the Red Tornadoes have established that they're not going to shy away from running the football. We'll see if we'll see more of them putting the ball in the hands of Karicki and Kimsel.
Well, and just on cue, they're going to throw it out to Delaney, but a nice open field tackle made, and I believe that Chipoleski. So
yeah.
Nice. Delaney's not an easy guy to tackle.
No, he's not. He's very shifty, and Chipoleski did a really good job of getting his hands on Delaney and not letting him go.
2nd and 8. Marshall's going to throw again. Now he's looking for Adams, but he's going to get Delaney on a corner.
Oh, wow.
That's a great ball by Marshall. Nice route and reception by Delaney. And it's 1st and 10, Red Tornadoes inside Blue Jay territory.
And Jim, I want to talk about it very quickly because the Red Tornadoes are up on the ball already. Delaney had an inside release, and he snuck around his defender who had outside leverage and beat him to the corner. I mean, that's really difficult to do for a receiver. And Marshall threw the ball exactly where it needed to be.
It'll be the 3rd straight completion to Delaney, and you're going to get 15 yards on top of that one. It's only maybe a pickup of 4 or 5, but it'll be 15 against the Blue Jays when this is all said and done. So I'm looking out there, Dan, and I think it happened fast, right?
Yeah.
The kind of the flag route to Delaney there. But I saw in the replay, and I'm not sure if it would have been Bailey. Oh, so it's going to be a face mask actually. So only 5.
Okay.
That wasn't necessarily what I saw, but I guess I'm a little further away than everybody else. But I'm not sure if it was Cricky or Bailey, but somebody stepped up and took on Baron Oyar to give Marshall that extra half a second he needed. Now, good job there by Cricky, putting his head down, getting over the 30.
Yeah, it was really good job there by Cricky. And again, I mean, if this Red Tornado offense is going to be a pass-heavy offense, you have to have the capability to do that, to pick up 4 or 5 yards at a time. Every once in a while, break a big run, and that's what Cricky and that's what Kimsel gives you.
2nd and 5. It'll be Cricky again off that right side. He's still on his feet.
It's a great run.
I think he's ultimately going to be taken down. I think that's Nowak. I think it was 55. But as you said, Dan, the Red Tornadoes, they pick up 4 on that, and they're back up on the ball for 3rd and 1. Delaney split out to the right. Adams by himself to the field to the left. Belichick's the tight end. Bailey just behind him in kind of that slot wing position. And Marshall's going to give it to Cricky off that left side, and he's going to have the first down across the inside the 15. But I think there's a flag on the play. Thought I saw a flag thrown.
Just have to see where it is exactly.
I think it's going to be a false start on the Red Tornadoes because it came out super early, or excuse me, super late,
okay.
just before the snap.
So that'll negate the first down, Jim, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's weird because of where the official's standing right along the Red Tornado sideline, and I think our angle, I just saw something floating out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah, I didn't see it at all. I didn't see the flag hit the ground or get picked up. I didn't see either one, so that's good catch there, Jim.
So that third and 1 completion turns into a 3rd and 6 back at the 29-yard line. And Marshall's going to throw a rocket out to Adams, and it's incomplete. Might have been a yard short of the first down as it was. Now it's going to be 4th down, and Coach Darrell will have to dig into the bag of tricks and see what he's got for the Blue Jay defense.
Yeah, and Jim, just something to mention here. We've seen Delaney kind of flip-flopping both sides, and they're finding ways to get him the ball. He has really done a good job of over this, 5.5 quarters of this year so far of filling that gadget role that Xavier Diaz kind of vacated due to graduation.
Marshall's going to throw. Oh my goodness. It's
wow.
Incomplete, but Delaney put himself in harm's way
He did.
to try to make that reception.
That was, that all effort going up to get that ball. And again, we've talked about this, something that we've been seeing with Marshall is he is so good at placing the ball where only his receiver can get it. That ball is into triple coverage, but it's high enough that he knows only Jalen's going to be able to go get that. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to bring it down, but just getting your hands on that is incredible.
So now the Blue Jays, after the defense holds, will take over 1st and 10. And Parker Day, nobody to throw to. He's going to lower his shoulder once, twice. He's going to pick up about 7 yards, and there's a little spark from that Blue Jay offense.
Yeah. I mean, you get the big stop there on 4th down. You want to come back. Red Tornadoes had the play snuffed out. They tried to do a quick screen to the right side, but
got a good shot there on the sideline, a QB1. Nice camera work down there by WKMC TV crew.
Okay, and it looked like there was some discussion with the referee there, which is kind of what stopped me there. But yeah, the Red Tornadoes stuffed out that and the initial throw that Parker Day wanted to do. So again, he seems to be pretty cool, calm, and collected back there. No panic. I'm going to tuck it and run away from everybody, and he made a nice gain out of it.
2nd and 3 on the 36, and this time it's Huntington off that left side. He tries to employ the stiff arm, but that's not going to work on Matt Belichick. The first one there, and looks like all his friends will come and help clean up. Trying to see who else comes out of there.
Of course,
looks like Lukuski and Karicki.
Yeah. I mean, phenomenal job there by Belichick staying home on that. That's like a backside run, and making that tackle in the backfield.
Cost him a yard, 3rd and 4. Day to throw. He's under pressure immediately, and he floats it out, and it's almost intercepted. That was Belichick causing the throw in the first place, creates the pressure. That's Matt Belichick, and just out of the outstretched arms of Chase Belichick for the interception.
And I think we're going to see the punt team here.
But it looks like, and I want to call this out, I think that was also Jason Clokus there providing pressure.
Okay. Freshman getting some time in there. It's always good to see. They said he had a really good summer. One of the guys to look out for. We'll probably see him more and more throughout the season.
It'll be a false start against the Blue Jays. Cost them 5.
Yeah, we'll see now. You got 2 big playmakers back there in Kimzel and Lukuski to return these punts. They've had trouble with the snaps on the first 2, the Blue Jays. So we'll see if Schultz is able to get this one and get it out.
It's a good snap. It's a nice punt from Schultz. Red Tornadoes backpedaling. Lukuski takes it at the 25, and he's got a little space on the sideline. He's calling out blockers. Lukuski's got 2 men to beat. He gets a great block from Matt Belichick. But there's a flag. There is a flag down at about the 38-yard line. And I think this one's going to come back, folks.
But wow, Jim, I mean, talk about, I don't know what was going on down here at the 38-yard line, but around the 20-yard line, Matt Belichick blocked 2 guys without peel back blocking, did it the proper way, and really sent this one for 6. But unfortunately, all that great work on the return there is going to be negated by the penalty.
It's going to be a block in the back, as it often is when that happens. But Dan, you said it right before about the big play capabilities of both Lukoski and Kimzel back there, and my goodness, they didn't disappoint.
And they don't shy away either. I mean, there was the football was going to get there, and there were going to be Blue Jay defenders there that had such great hang time. It was a beautiful punt, and I mean, just a tremendous return all around. Unfortunately, the penalty brings it back, but.
So now we have a little less excitement here. We'll take a breath. 7:42 left. 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes. The ball's at the Blue Jay 48. And it's out to Delaney again. And this time Delaney's got Bailey out there with him. And Delaney turns on the Jets, and he's out inside the 30-yard line for a 1st and 10. A nice big completion of about 19.
Yeah, only had 1 man to beat, and it was Alex Zeisloft. And Zeisloft made a nice play making the tackle.
Right back up on the ball. Marshall, now they're going to do it the other side. And again, another good block from Bailey, a good block from Tate Adams, and it's inside the 20 down to about the 16-yard line.
Should be another 1st down.
And this Marshall to Delaney connection is something to talk about.
Yeah, it absolutely is, Jim. I mean, this is a tremendous job. And the Red Tornadoes with their pace, I mean, they're just moving.
And oh my goodness, Marshall, he employed even the hands on the hard count that time and got a big reaction from the Blue Jays. It'll cost them 5.
And I feel like that's essentially for the Red Tornadoes offense, that's like taking a timeout. You know what I mean? With how fast they play, you come up here, you hit that hard count, then the ref has to come and reset the ball. You get a chance to breathe a little bit. That's a timeout without taking a timeout.
And Marshall's going to hand it to Kimzel. Kimzel's going to get stood up, and somebody lost their lid. That's going to be a Blue Jay, but Kimzel get not inside the 10. Looks like he's going to get right to the 10.
Yeah, we'll see now what the Red Tornadoes decide to do here. It seems like the Blue Jays have kind of tightened up their run defense, at least on that last play. So we'll see. I mean, Got Delaney all by himself up there.
It's going to be Kimsel again up the middle. Not much there, but it might be enough for a first down.
Kimsel on the carry.
Based on the offside
It's
penalty, it was
just
only
short.
it's about 2nd and 3 on that one.
Brought down number 65. Back
Yeah,
4 yard for the
a little
Bluejays.
short will bring it to 3rd and 1.
Brings up a
6:28
3rd
left
and
in the
1
first half. 14-7 Red Tornadoes. They're driving. Marshalik again gets the free yardage now. It won't be a full 5, I think, because we're inside the 10, but it'll be enough for a first down.
Yes, it will be. Should put him inside the 5-yard line, would be my guess.
Offside penalty against the Bluejays.
And it will be a first down.
Penalty gives Red Tornadoes a first down.
Looks like where the ball spotted, Dan, you're right, but just barely.
Yeah, just inside the 5.
Kimsel behind Marshall this time, and it'll be Kimsel. They'll get down to around the 3-yard line.
I like that little wrinkle there, kind of putting Marshalik in the pistol. Just gives Kimsel a little bit more steam when he hits the line of scrimmage, especially in these short yardage situations down here near the goal line. You want him to have as much forward momentum as possible, so don't line him up next to him. Put him behind him and let him get a head start.
All right, now Red Tornado quickly, Marshall under center. He turns around, he gives it to Al Bailey, and Bailey's in for a touchdown. 20-7 Red Tornadoes, a 2-yard plunge by number 28, Al Bailey.
Yeah, and Bailey didn't really have to force his way in there. Bailey was able to kind of bounce that out. We've got an injured Red Tornado down on the play.
And I think that might be Demko.
Yeah, and
which
that
gets very interesting for the Red Tornadoes.
especially considering what we talked about early on, no Logan Herb, who is usually the one that steps in there at center. And Jim, you talked about the leadership of Luke Blessing early on. We see Logan Herb down here taking snaps from number 75 for the Red Tornadoes. That is Elijah Rimple, who I assume is going to be stepping in there if Gavin Demko is not able to return.
Now the good news is Demko does get up pretty quickly, and he's walking off under his own power, so hopefully we see him again before too long. But I believe on the extra point here, Belichick is typically the snapper,
yes,
or at least has the ability to do so.
42, Bobby Shoppy on for the point after attempt.
No, it might be Rimple.
Yeah, because I thought Demko was. No, it's Shimko. Shimko, okay.
Yep. It's a low snap. Adams picks it up now. He's trying to make some. Look at him run. Look at Tate. He's going to throw it to the end zone. And he's got Belichick.
Wow.
What a play. What a play by Tate Adams. And what a job by Belichick.
That was.
Oh, my goodness.
You had 3 Red Tornadoes in the end zone waving their arms around that they were open. All Tate had to do was get some time to see him. And when he did, he delivered a strike.
Well, and watch Tate on the replay. So he picks it up and he starts running, and he realizes immediately there's nothing to his left. He gets a block from Shoppy.
A huge block from Shoppy.
Oh, my goodness.
And from disaster to euphoria, Jim, there. That was incredible. I mean, that was impressive play. And that's why you practice that stuff, though. You practice those scramble drills. Everybody got out in their patterns like they had to, and Tate Adams kept his composure, got a good block from his kicker, and made a nice throw.
Well, I think another thing we always talk about, Dan, and it's super easy to always give the credit to the skill players to do that whole thing.
Yeah.
Because they have the ball, they score the points, all that kind of stuff. But I want to give credit to that, the field goal unit, to the linemen, because number one, you're obviously holding your block long enough that Adams didn't get killed.
Right.
Number two, you didn't go downfield either.
Yeah,
you didn't
that's
lose your
huge.
mind and wind up 6 yards deep in the end zone where you're going to get an illegal man downfield penalty or anything like that.
Right. All good, great job all around by that entire PAT unit.
Shoppy's kick is going to be taken by, looks like Regan. Out over the 25 near the 30. Actually, it may have been Huntington.
Number 28,
It was Huntington, excuse me.
Okay.
Bluejays. Ball spot on the
Yeah, we'll
30-yard
see.
line. Central takes
You know, we
over,
talked about the
3rd
kind of the rotation on that defensive line. We'll see Jabari Kynes in there on this drive, and I don't see Noah Shimko. So it looks like Noah Shimko is getting a breather. Jabari Kynes steps in there along with Max Karicki and Sheganowski.
Morganti split out here to the field side by himself.
Zeisloft is wide.
Now there's a little motion there, but a nice run, and that's Regan, and Regan does a good job getting over the 40 for a first down.
Gabe Gombert on the carry.
Trying to see.
Yeah.
Good for a first down. Ball's on the 41-yard line. 1st and 10, Bluejays.
It's a really good run there.
Yeah, I believe it would have been. So now Day's got Regan behind him. And they bring Tanner Regan in motion, but Day keeps it himself. Kimsel gets a hold of him, but again, Day does a good job of staying forward. He's going to be flung down about the 47-yard line.
And Jim, and that's another situation. Like, is that a designed kind of quarterback option where he can pitch that, hand it off, or keep it himself, or is that a busted play again where kind of things went wrong?
It's a good question. You see Shimko heading back in there. Kynes will come to the sideline, but I did like when Tanner Regan was behind Ty Regan for a second after the motion.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be Ty Regan, but there's nowhere for him to go. Great job. See Clokus getting up off the bottom there.
Yep.
As well as Sheganowski, I think, started the pile, and Clokus finished it off.
Gonna be, I mean, this is going to be a 3rd and inches play here.
Brings up a 3rd and short.
Why don't they measure these, Dan?
Huh?
Why don't they measure these?
I think they just go back and forth. They decide, hey, this one's going to be 3rd down. The next one, it'll be a 1st down.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know if you need to measure it. I just thinking back to last week in our conversation around measurements.
They measured the big one, though.
Yep. And it's Day. And he's going to give it to Huntington on a reverse, and he'll have the 1st down. So we got a good surge on that side out across the 45-yard line.
It's a really good play and a great job by Huntington to get that 1st down, but that's on 3rd and inches, 3rd and very short. You're going to hand the ball off 7 yards in the backfield. It's like, I mean, it's a great play because you assume that they're just going to go right behind the center and get the 1st down. So it's a good change of pace play there. You know, kind of catch them off guard. But I was.
It's a great play when it works.
Yeah, exactly. Because it could have ended badly had the Red Tornadoes got some penetration there.
So now it's 2 receivers to the right. It's Gombert and Schultz, 1 receiver to the left. Day's going to throw a jump. It's almost intercepted. It's incomplete for Gombert. Day has to peel himself up off the turf after another shot from Belichick. But Chase Belichick was, I don't know, inches away from taking that the other way.
Yeah, Jim, and Chase Belichick is out there to win a football game, but that looked like a situation where he saw his brother Matt on the first drive make a big hit after the kid caught the ball. Maybe he was going for the same thing. He was locked in on the receiver out there as that one floated over his head.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 now. 3:20 left in the first half. The Red Tornadoes lead 22-7. Huntington comes in motion. Day's going to throw. He's under pressure. He looks to the middle of the field, and it's over the head of Schultz. Dropped just in front of Morganti, but it was Bailey and Karicki providing pressure on Day.
Yeah, and Karicki would have been closer, but he got hung up on the other side there with his blocker.
Incomplete pass brings up a 3rd and 10 for Central.
Parker Day is going to see Al Bailey in his sleep tonight.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Because it seems like Bailey's always coming from whichever side Day is trying to roll out to.
So now Zeisloft is the only receiver to the field side, or to the sideline side for the Blue Jays. And there's a problem in the backfield. The ball's on the ground. They tried to run a reverse, but Day and Huntington kind of ran face to face, and Huntington falls on the football.
Yeah, and that defensive front for the Red Tornadoes is hyped. They got such a push that exchange that should have been happened 3 or 4 yards in the backfield was happening at the Red Tornado defensive line because of how much of a push they got.
Now Red Tornadoes will force a punt here from the Bluejays. Schultz will be out again. And again, Kimzel and Lukuski back deep, two very dangerous return men. And it'll be a timeout for the Red Tornadoes, as it looked like there was a little bit of confusion. The Red Tornadoes were sending out, might have been sending out more of a defensive, more of a pass defense.
Yeah.
And I think when the Blue Jays came out to punt, that might have thrown the Red Tornadoes off a little bit.
Yeah, I think so, Jim.
But one thing we definitely want to make sure we talk about, as we always do here at the Silver Bowls, we want to talk about the Red Tornado Legacy Brick Project,
yes.
right? Again, you hear us talk about it a lot. Here's what you're going to want to do. You know what the Brick Project is. You know where it is. It's in the south end zone where the creature bleachers used to be, but it's a new opportunity for a place of gathering, a place to just really appreciate all it is associated with Mount Carmel area football. So you want a brick, you can get a brick. Go to redtornadofootball.com. You're going to scroll down past Dan and I. You can click on the picture of the brick project. It's going to be on the right-hand side of the page. You can get two different bricks, a 4x8-inch brick or a 12x12-inch block. But here's the thing, and this is the important thing I need you to hear. You have to get those orders in by October 1st. We'll talk about it again, but again, October 1st so that we can get them in before it gets cold. If you don't get one by October 1st, you got to wait until the spring. And honestly, if you don't have a brick yet, what are you doing? Go out there and get one. We got one. And Schultz is going to punt in that direction. It's a nice punt. He's going to bounce, take a Red Tornado bounce back towards.
Probably right about the 20 would be my guess.
Well, I'm trying to figure out sorry, I stopped dead in my tracks because there's some flags thrown, and I'm not really sure what the flags were thrown for.
It didn't look like there was anybody in the area. I'm wondering if this is a sideline thing.
They are pointing that direction, Dan, so that might be all it is. Oh, it's a block in the back against the Red Tornadoes.
Wow.
Okay. I did not see that. Now, again, in my defense, I was away from the play.
Yeah.
You should have seen it, but I was watching I was watching the ball.
I mean, I got the same vantage point that you do, Jim, so if you didn't see it, there's no way I'm seeing it. I got to get a new prescription, I think, on my glasses.
So this is going to move the ball back to, let's see when they stop walking. It's going to be inside the 15. Oh my goodness, it's going to be inside the 10. It's going to be at the 10.
And it's going to be fourth down, Jim. That's crazy.
First and 10 for the Red Tornadoes from the 10. They got 2.5 minutes to go 90 yards if they want to hit the end zone again before the end of the first half.
And that would be big for the Red Tornadoes to do so.
Marshall turns and he hands it to Kricky. And Kricky does a good job of staying on his feet. They had his jersey, but he powers across the 10 to maybe the 11. Oh, excuse me, that's not Kricky. I saw the 2 and assumed 26, Aiden Dietz.
Yeah.
So a nice tough run there by Aiden.
And Jim, good news for the Red Tornadoes. You see 66 Gavin Demko in there snapping the football.
Marshall's going to give it to Dietz again. And Dietz does a nice job of picking his way, and he'll get over the 15. He's going to bring up third maybe 3.
Yeah, I think 3 or 4 there, Jim. But that's a really good job by Aiden Dietz. He's not a big kid by any means, but he does a good job kind of staying low and keeping a good center of gravity.
Senior in there at 5'8", $170. And here comes Gombert off the blitz, but it's a good ball by Marshall and a good route by Belichick out there. Dan, that's your stick route, right?
That's exactly what that is. He had a defender draped all over his back, but Marshall put that right in his stomach. He hauled it in, got the first down.
Now Dietz will come to the sideline. Kricky heads back out there. Be 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Marshall and Kricky in the backfield. And a flag here on an offsides.
Okay. So I'm assuming again it was a Blue Jay defender lined up over the football would be my guess. Seems like they're trying to press these receivers, so it could have been one of those defensive backs.
Now, again, while it was nice for the Red Tornadoes to pick up that initial first down, it did take quite a bit of time to get there. So now we're at about 1:22 left. So that took a little over a minute to get the initial first down, and the Red Tornadoes are still 74 yards away from the end zone with 80 seconds to go here. And Marshalk's going to throw, and he wants to go up top to Bluejays, and he's got, whoa, my goodness. Bluejays did everything he could except pull that one in, and just the ground kind of got him on that one because Bluejays was fully extended for that reception.
Yeah, Jim, and it appeared that Bluejays and Tanner Regan, who was in coverage there, got their feet tangled up. Bluejays was heading to the ground as he got his hands on that football and just so close to reeling that one in.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 now, 1:06 left in the first half, 22-7 Big Red. Adams and Delaney to the left. Marshalk's looking for Bluejays. He's got him on that route. And Bluejays, great job, but there's a flag. Now, Bluejays' reception, he's going to be down around the 47-yard line, but there's a late flag in the middle of the field.
Jim, I feel like we haven't had a whole lot of plays without flags this game so far.
It's an ineligible man downfield on the Red Tornadoes.
Penalty indicated against Mount Carmel area.
So that's a tough one there.
Yeah, I mean, because I didn't see any big Red Tornadoes downfield there.
Well, and that's a pass play.
And it's also it's a quick pass play.
Right. So
and that's a judgment call to make that call.
Yep. Because there's certain times, if you see that call, you're not surprised. Maybe it's a screen and somebody got too far down the field, or a scramble drill, or even if it's a read option where the quarterback holds it too long.
Yeah.
But Marshalk got that out quick.
Very quick.
Now they'll go to Delaney on the other side of the field, and he's going to try to get in and out, but he slips.
Pass complete to Delaney.
He'll be at the 24-yard line, and now it's going to be interesting because Coach Darren's now dealing with the clock and the down.
I think Coach is going to want to get a first down here before using a timeout.
Well, it is 3rd and 8, so Marshalk's going to get it out there to Delaney again, and he gets a great block from Bluejays to pick up the first down, and Bailey's the first block, Bluejays is the second,
Yeah.
and that's there all day, it seems like, if the Red Tornadoes want it.
Bailey seals the edge, and then Bluejays just kind of stock blocks his defender and gives Delaney a two-way go. You want to go inside, I'll push him out. You want to go outside, I'll push him in. And that was the smart play, going outside, get to the sideline, get out of bounds.
The Red Tornadoes still have 2 timeouts left here. Marshalk wants to go. Delaney's got behind the defense, and he just missed him. It's just over his head.
And again, that looked like, Jim, that looks almost like an option route, like where it's kind of, hey, get behind your defender, and I'm going to put the ball where I think it needs to be. Delaney looked like he was kind of fading a little bit inside. Marshalk put it a little bit outside, but he was behind his defender. That's a tough one. A tough one there for the Red Tornadoes.
And Dan, as we're sitting here thinking about this, and Marshalk completed 19 passes last week. I'm curious to hear from Jose how many he's got at the half, because those quick ones to Delaney, I mean, they add up.
Yes, they do.
And there's a screen set up. Marshalk's trying to get rid of it, and he's going to be sacked down. What a big play by the Bluejays, and that may effectively end the Red Tornadoes' drive here before the first half. Looks like that was Ty Reagan.
The clock.
Ty Reagan that got in there for the stop.
Yeah, and we'll see, Jim. I think the Red Tornadoes can take this to the half, and I think that's what they're going to do.
And again, I don't disagree with the approach here, given they do get the ball to start the second half. You have a 2-touchdown lead. It's 3rd and about 20. So we'll watch the clock hit 0 here at the end of the first half, and that's how we'll do it. So the Red Tornadoes, wait, hold on. Did Coach Dara call a timeout?
We'll
I think Coach Dara called a timeout.
A timeout with what? With
1 or 2 seconds left. I think because neither of the teams are heading to the sideline.
Or was it called earlier? I don't know. Jim, we're going to have a situation here because the band is on the field.
Oh. I thought you were joking.
No, not joking. Oh, and they're preparing to march out. Red Tornadoes are going to be running another play here.
Yeah,
I wonder if Coach Dara has a play for this situation that he just wanted to try out.
That was Tornado's second timeout of the first half.
Well, Dan, as you've pointed out numerous times over the years, you can't take those timeouts with you.
Right. You definitely cannot.
So let's see what happens here. I don't know how much time's left.
2.
2 seconds, 3 seconds, I'm not sure. But it's going to be Marshall's got 2 to the right, 1 to the left. He's going to drop back. He's under pressure. And he's just going to throw it out there in the general direction of the sideline. So it's not going to hurt the Red Tornadoes. And I'm going to see.
Great effort from Tate Adams there.
He did lay out.
Tried to lay out to catch that one.
But now, while we did it prematurely before, that will signal the end of the first half. It's 22-7 Red Tornadoes here at the Silver Bowl. We will be back after the break with stats from Jose, an interview with Coach Dara, and most importantly, the second half. So stay with us.
All right, I'm here with Luke Blessing. Luke, what's your position and number?
Running back, number 24.
All right, we're going to get to know you in 5 questions.
All right.
So do you prefer watching college or NFL football?
NFL football,
Why is that?
because I like to play fantasy football.
All right. Who's your favorite artist?
Like, singer?
Yeah.
Rapper? It's Zach Bryan.
Zach Bryan? Yeah. Good pick. Would you rather go camping or go on the beach?
Go on the beach.
You like to tan?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite subject in school? And don't say gym.
Math.
Math?
Yeah.
Okay. And what is your dream vacation?
Probably like Punta Cana or something.
Punta Cana?
Yeah.
Get very tan there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Luke. I'm here with Al Bailey. What's your number and position?
I'm number 28, and I play fullback and linebacker.
All righty, we're going to get to know you in 5 questions. So would you rather go camping or go to the beach?
I'd probably rather go camping.
Yeah, you're an outdoors guy?
Yeah. Well, I don't like sand.
No?
Scary.
Gotcha. If you could switch lives with one of your teammates for a day, who would it be and why?
Probably Ben Miller.
Why is that?
I want to know what's going on inside that kid's head.
You don't. Nobody knows?
No, so I'd like to find out.
All righty. And, okay, so this question works out. Your nickname is Snacks. What's your favorite snack?
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
You can't go wrong with them.
No.
Just classic. Do you have any pre-game rituals?
No.
No?
No.
Just kind of go out there and do your thing?
Yeah.
All righty. And what's your favorite cinnamon sticks bowls?
Oh, I don't know the name of it. What? Cold Cracker, I think it's
Cold
called.
Cracker?
It has like the peanut butter.
Yeah,
and
yep,
Nutella,
that one, yeah. All right, thank you, Al.
Rossi, Assistant Drum Instructor. John Jacoby, Assistant to the Band Director. Jennifer Melnick, Color Guard Instructor. Bernie Steller, Kelly Lucas, Erica Nestico, and Cameron Getty, Music and Marching Instructors. Linda Haas, Assistant Color Guard Instructor. We would like to thank Brett Getty, Matt Steller, the MCA School Board Administration, and especially the MCA band parents for their continued invaluable support. The band would like to recognize the late Paul Prof. Samichek, legendary MCA Mounties Director, who wrote the brass and woodwind arrangements for portions of our show.
That thing looks so unstable.
And now we invite you to sit back and enjoy the 2024 edition of the Mount Carmel Area High School Big Red Band. At UNB Bank, we understand.
Hey, welcome back to the Silver Bowl, where after the first half of play, the Red Tornadoes lead the visiting Central Columbia Blue Jays 22-7, and often we have the opportunity to share Jose's stats, but it's a little bit better when he can share them with us. So, Jose, what do you have for us for the first half, sir?
Winning isn't going to work. There we go. For Mount Carmel, 18 rushes, 117 yards, 11 passing, 130, 14 first downs. Central
I think we're going to apologize for the technical difficulties there. We don't have Jose. Unfortunately, we do have his numbers because he's a kind enough man to share those with us. So we'll see what we can do to get a hold of Jose and let him talk to us again. We've got another in-between halves thing where we typically try to get a hold of Coach Dara as well coming out of the tunnel. But I think, again, fortunately, Jose sends us the stats, so we'll give them to you here in just a moment. But I think just as interesting is, again, Alyssa down on the sideline. Alyssa's down on the sideline with Coach Dara, so
all the way over here.
Get into a good spot. Yep, going to get a good spot. Coach Dara getting his steps in today.
I gotta go here quick. Let's go.
All right, and we'll kick it down to Alyssa with Coach Dara. Go ahead, Alyssa.
Alrighty, so I'm here with Coach Dara. And Coach, how has the team adjusted to losing so many key players last year and having some injuries early on in the season?
Well, we just got to have the next man up philosophy. So got some, I think, all our backs tonight are running pretty well. So I'm glad to see them step up.
Alrighty, thank you. Jim and Dan, back to you.
Thanks, Alyssa. Yeah, we've talked about that a lot, and Coach Dara talked about the backs and Dan. So, again, poor Jose didn't get a chance to share it with us, but what do you have from Jose for rushing stats and the passing stats as well?
Yeah, so I just want to reference last week. Last week at halftime, the Red Tornadoes had negative 16 rushing yards. They've definitely turned that one around. 18 rushing attempts for 117 yards here in the first half. 11 of 16 passing from Marshalik for 133 yards. 14 first downs to go along with that 22 on the scoreboard there. Central Columbia coming back, still running the ball well, just as they did last week. 19 rushing attempts from Central Columbia for 120 rushing yards. So the rushing yards are pretty evenly matched there. 117 for the Red Tornadoes, 120 for Central. The disparity there is in the passing game. Central Columbia's 4 of 16 passing for 15 yards and 8 first downs.
What's interesting is the Marshalik numbers, especially 11 of 16. So we thought the Red Tornadoes would air it out a little bit more tonight, and certainly, he's on the same exact pace to throw it 32 times again. Again, Marshalik takes a sack late in the first half when the Red Tornadoes are running some deep routes, trying to make something happen. There's a screen in place, so one more sack perhaps than last week.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that offensive line has, again, held up really well in pass protection.
Yeah, even with the missing piece in double nickel out there, Bumps, I mean he's as Coach Dara mentioned in his interview, it's the next man up philosophy in the backfield and on the offensive line, and they're doing a really great job so far in this game.
We'll get to see that offense first. The ball bounces in front of Morganti, and Morganti's got some space. He does a good job, but a nice play there made by both Tanner Regan, number 15, and Blake McGuire, the kicker. Morganti had everything he needed, but there was just nowhere for him to go right around the 45-yard line.
And Chip, there was so much space out there that he almost got hemmed in by his own team. There were some red jerseys that were kind of he was kind of using his peripherals, trying to see where to go, and he decided I got to just go up the middle on these guys. And after the great return by Morganti, we do have a Blue Jay down on the field.
You know, while the Blue Jays tended to, you talk about that a lot, Dan, whether it's punts, kickoffs, whatever. When that ball hits the ground, it's so important for those return teams to kind of stay in their lanes. And it looked like Morganti was able to exploit that a little bit because the ball bounced in front of him. And even off the turf, he didn't field it cleanly the first time. It was kind of that second hop that he was able to scoop it and take off.
Yeah, once the ball hits the ground, it turns into a fire drill the majority of the time. And that's everybody's just, you see the ball. And it's an instinct thing for a lot of football players. You see ball, and you just want to go and get it. So that's a lot of the times where guys break contain. They're able to kind of make big plays on stuff like that. You see it happen in the NFL a lot of times too, because a lot of those guys aren't, if they are fielding kicks or punts, they're fielding them cleanly. So when they don't, there's the opportunity for a big play.
And as the Blue Jay, 10-2, he's sitting up at least. That's always a good sign. Again, we want to thank tonight's sponsor, VFW Post 2110 here in Mount Carmel. And while we have a second here, we might as well take a look at some scores across the league, across the area. That's Aiden Huntington, number 28, making his way off the field. But Danville leads Mifflinburg 47-0 at the half. North Schuylkill was leading when we last checked in. Now they trail Tamaqua 21-17.
Oh.
Southern Columbia continues to roll against Loyalsock 34-0. Hughesville 35-0 over Towanda. And Montoursville up 6-0 versus Milton at the half.
Yeah, and Jim, the only other one that I was curious about, is one of the Red Tornadoes' future longtime opponents is Shamokin. They're playing Lake Lehman. I believe they had a pretty long drive, and they're actually up 42-0 over Lake Lehman.
Karicki does a good job getting out over the 50-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 9. You say 42-0?
42-0 in the third quarter. The Indians lead Lake Lehman.
Indians had a big win last week versus Pottsville as well.
Yes, they did.
And Marshalik's going to go intercepted. He was looking for Bailey, threw it right to Schultz, and Schultz has a good return. Schultz is going to take it inside the 10. Delaney doesn't give up, and he'll drag him down at the 6-yard line. But a great play by Schultz. And while the Red Tornadoes have the ball first to start the second half, it's the Blue Jays that are in position to strike first.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tremendous play by Schultz, just kind of stepping in front of that one, and then making a nice return out of it. But credit to Jalen Delaney just hanging in there. He missed the tackle initially. He got blocked, but he fought off of his block and then chased him down to make the big stop there and give the defense a chance here to stop the points from going on the board.
Day is going to hand it to Regan. Tough runner Regan is. He'll get down to about the 5, maybe the 4. Be second and goal.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see here. Okay. Just big pile up there. I saw Shimko getting up a little bit slowly, but I think he was just the last one on there because he was the first one on scene there to make the tackle.
That's what he said. He was busy making the tackle.
Yeah.
Can't be getting up that fast.
No.
Shimko plays that nose tackle spot. It's flanked by Kricky and Shiganoski. Day's going to roll out to, tried to hand it off to Regan on another one of those sprint draws, but the Blue Jays are going to lose a couple yards.
It's a great job by Ben Miller, the stalwart there in the middle, just hanging in there. You saw the ball hit the ground. A lot of guys, again, we talked about it on the kick return. When the ball hits the ground, everybody loses their mind sometimes. Ben Miller, I thought Regan was going to pick that up and be able to walk his way into the end zone, but Ben Miller said, not so fast.
Blue Jays split the Red Tornadoes out a little bit. They're going to go 4 wide, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. Day's going to throw. He's looking inside, incomplete. He was looking for Tanner Regan, and now it's 4th down as Day, once again, it has to get up off the turf.
This is a pretty big personnel change, and Parker Day's going to the sideline. They are going to kick this.
And so now you get to the point as McGuire Blake comes out to kick this, where you say, hey, whether he makes this or not, Jalen Delaney saved you at least 4 points.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You're right, and I think this is a good call by Coach Smith over there. Like you have this big momentum shift. You have to get some points.
I disagree, and here's why. It's 2-possession game right now. If you make this field goal, it's 2-possession game.
True.
That's where I'm at.
But you don't want to go from 1st and goal and get no points.
Blake drills it, so it's 22-10. So it's a nice kick by Blake. We saw him kind of getting some of that in early time and during specialist drills. But 22-10 here. And that's the second week in a row the Red Tornadoes have had a field goal scored against them.
Yeah, you're right. That'll be another good one for Jose. When was the last time that's happened?
Yeah.
That'll be a good one. But now we'll get to see that Red Tornado offense take the field again here, and we'll also get to see that high-flying, speedy kick return team with another chance here.
And we talked about that a little bit, and I think Jose referenced it as well. That's a part of the Red Tornadoes' repertoire, part of their skill set that we didn't get to see last week at all because of Gavin Menser.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. You're right. And Jim, now here's another thing you got to try to think. Are they going to kick away from Morgani here? But is the other option a better option? It's a lot of different things to consider here.
That's going to go over Morgani's head.
Wow.
So that's how you address that problem.
Yeah.
McGuire must have seen some tape on Menser and said, "Oh, this is easier if you just kick a touchback."
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the Happy Gilmore thing. Nobody likes to putt. You just hit it on the first shot every time.
22-10, Red Tornadoes lead the Blue Jays here. 9:52 left in the third quarter. Going to be 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes from the 20. Again, we've said that more already this season than we have probably in seasons past. Belichick and Delaney are stacked to the right. Adams by himself to the left. It's going to be a quick rocket screen to Delaney.
That's a great job by Belichick out there on the edge. He's one-on-one. As soon as Marshalik sets his feet, the defender knows where that ball's going, and Belichick just holds his block the whole time. He did a great job there.
And that's a great play made by number 2, Josh Worthington. Now, the Blue Jays want the football, but Kricky was down. Now, Worthington, again, we talked about it early. The Blue Jays are firing those blitzers early.
Yes.
And in that case, Worthington timed everything perfectly. So I'll be curious if on 2nd and long, do you see the hard count?
That would be the play call. That would definitely be the play call.
2nd and about 13 now. Back to the 25. And problem with the handoff
out
there, and I believe Marshalik falls back on that one, so the Red Tornadoes will keep it.
Yeah, but now it's going to be a 3rd and very long situation here.
But in the same situation last week, Dan, where some of the center snap exchanges are because you go, well, yeah, you've got a new center, new quarterback. In this case, I'm sure the majority of the handoffs Marshalik has been doing out of those read options were the blessing.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
sure,
all
yeah.
summer.
Yep.
All leading up to week 1. And so there's just some new rhythms that Red Tornadoes are trying to figure out.
Yeah, plus, the Blue Jays just not going away here, applying some pressure on Marshalik as well.
Marshalik's got Bailey, and what a catch by Bailey! Over the shoulder, looking like Willie Mays.
Right.
And it's going to be 1st and 10 Red Tornadoes at the Blue Jays' 49-yard line.
That is such a great catch there by Bailey. I mean, that's the adjustment as the ball's in the air. Incredible play. And a great ball from Marshalik.
Marshalik stood in there. And now it's the quick one to Delaney the other way. And a good job by Belichick there. Regan did a nice job of getting around Belichick, but Belichick didn't hold. He's like, all right, I'm going to let Delaney do what he does, and it's another Red Tornado 1st down.
Yeah, and the upside on that one is sometimes you do those rocket screens, the receiver's still kind of moving backwards. Delaney was moving forward, so he was able to turn that upfield immediately.
And another difficult snap for the Red Tornadoes. It'll cost them 5. Marshalik falls on it. Maybe 6. It'll be 2nd and 16 now, but
yeah, the downside to this is it seems like just as the Red Tornadoes are starting to get in a rhythm, they're in that no huddle, that fast-paced offense. You have a small hiccup like this that kind of slows everything down, gives the Blue Jays defense a chance to catch their breath, and usually ends up with the Red Tornadoes behind the sticks.
Another low snap, but Marshall picks it up, and Delaney's going to try to weave in and out.
Ooh.
Nice play made there by the Blue Jays. They were kind of waiting on that one.
Yeah.
Looked like Gombert and Sarinsky out there. Sarinsky, excuse me. There's no N.
Another 3rd and long here for the Red Tornadoes again.
And there you go. That'll make it a little
shorter,
less long.
Yeah.
It'll be about a 3rd and 11 now, maybe. As the ball will be walked forward to the 33-yard line. Yeah, 3rd and 11. And between the last 3rd and long completion, and if you go back to last week, Al Bailey is pretty sure-handed in those high-leverage, high-pressure downs.
Absolutely is.
Marshall under pressure. He takes a shot, but delivers a good ball. And it was almost caught. Marshall got hit from all corners, stayed in there to try to deliver the ball as best he could. And he almost got what he needed.
Yeah, he was. That ball was there a split second faster. Delaney reels that one in. Credit to number 15, Tanner Regan, driving on that football and getting a hand in there.
Pressure's coming from Marshallik's blind side there. So he saw one of the defenders and hurried himself up a little bit. The second one really gave him a shot. And Marshall under pressure again. He's got to roll. He floats it over, and he's got Delaney. Oh my goodness! And Dan, you talked about ball placement early on, and there was nobody going to make that catch except Delaney.
That's again an incredible pitch and catch there from Marshall to Delaney. Just a great job.
1st and 10 from the 19, and it's Delaney the other side, and it's stuck. He takes a shot from Gombert.
Yeah, that's a tough one there for the Red Tornadoes. I mean, at this point it seems like the Blue Jays defense, they're prepared for that play. They're sending, as soon as Marshall turns his feet, they're sending their outside linebackers after that play.
Well, I don't know if we need to do it here. And Marshall's going to float it out to Delaney. Delaney makes the first man miss, which is a nice move to bring up 3rd and manageable. But again, you're inside the 20, not inside the 15. Maybe this isn't the place, but you have to think that rocket screen, that the number of times they've run that, or whether you want to call it a bubble screen, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That gives you the opportunity at some point for Bluejays to fake that block and just take off, right?
Oh, yeah,
and then
absolutely.
have Marshall throw it as far as he possibly can.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. And yeah, this isn't the area of the field to be in to do it, but you're 100% right. And I think I mean that's another situation where just Bluejays is doing his thing out there. He's blocking for Delaney out there. He's always got a good block. It seems like every time that play's run. Give him his due. You know what I mean? Let him go get one. But that's we got an injured Blue Jay on the play. But the other thing I wanted to point out was, Jim, that ball that Marshall just threw to Delaney pretty much went inches over Gombert's helmet, who was applying the pressure directly in Marshall's face, and Marshall still was able to stand in there and make a good throw.
Number 7, Jared Sariski, the Blue Jay that was down, he makes his way off the field. But yeah, we can talk about Chase Bluejays all day, but he's just out there. He's got a hard hat and a lunch pail, just doing work. He's
grinding.
That's all it is,
grinding.
man. That's blue collar work out there. That's wide receivers blocking. That's not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not. You have to respect it.
And Marshall low snap, and he's got Adams incomplete. Perhaps a little bit behind on the shoulder.
Just slightly. Just slightly behind Adams there.
Now we'll see what the call is from the Red Tornadoes here. 4th and 3. Ball's at the 13-yard line.
I like Chase Bluejays by himself down here. One-on-one. He's got a little bit of a height advantage. Let him go get it.
Delaney's got some space too, but Marshall's looking for Bailey, and it's high.
Oh, there's a flag.
There's a flag, but we'll have to see where the flag goes. And it's ineligible receiver downfield on the Red Tornadoes. So the Blue Jays will decline that, and they'll turn the ball over on downs. So the Red Tornadoes will maintain their 12-point lead with 5:46 left, but they will have to give the football back to the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Jim, that's after, a really, really nice drive by the Red Tornadoes there that unfortunately does not come away with points. That's a tough way to end that one, especially after a few big conversions as well.
So now we'll see the Blue Jays again, a long field to go. Zeisloff's going to split out by himself with Morganti. Day hands it off to Regan up the middle.
Stacked up quick.
Nice job by the interior defense of the Big Red. See Miller getting up off the bottom of that pile, because of course he was.
Keegan Brown, and I think it was Shiganowski and Bailey over there as well.
2nd and 9 now. This time it looks like number 4, Elijah Geedy, split out wide. But it's going to be Regan again. And the Red Tornadoes will bend a little bit, but certainly not break. So Regan gets up to maybe the 20-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and about 3
Yeah, he just runs tough, Jim. He gets that handoff. He keeps a low center of gravity, but 2 hands on the football, just kind of running through the briar patch there, and it works for him. It works.
Zysloff spells Geedy. Again, Geedy in there as it looks like Sariski's still on the sideline. Day brings Chipileski in motion, and he hands it off on the inside. Sally to Tanner Regan, I believe. It's 15, and he's going to pick up a first down.
Yeah, it's a really good tackle by Kimsel, but it's just, too far downfield for the tackle to be made. And the Blue Jays convert.
Kimsel tackled the football as much as he did Regan on that one.
Yeah, he did.
So as we said, new set of downs for the Blue Jays. We're now under 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. They trail the Red Tornadoes by a dozen.
Tightening things up here.
There's a flag, and you get an looks like an offside penalty against the Red Tornadoes.
Yeah, it does look like. Taking a page out of the Red Tornadoes playbook there.
This is quite a lot of these tonight on both sides.
After the penalty, we'll bring up a 1st and 5 for the Jays.
1st and 5. 3:40. Again, between offsides and illegal motions, it's been a lot of yellow. Now Geedy across the formation. He gets himself set. It'll be Day. Keeps that to himself. And Dan, you've called this out a couple times. I'm not sure if he was designed to keep that or not.
That one looked more unplanned than the others so far. They all had a little bit of a touch of panic in them, but that one he didn't handle the snap properly. Looked like he was supposed to hand that off to Regan, and just couldn't get it to him. But then he just added an extra blocker in front of him, just ran up right behind Regan and got a first down.
Now the Blue Jays here, somewhat methodically moving the ball down the field, and they've done it on a couple different drives. They're not scoring points and picking up yards in bunches, but 4, 5, 6 at a time. And now Day's going to throw. And now he's looking for Tanner Regan, and he's got him, but it's incomplete. A great effort by Morganti and Belichick to cover the ground because Regan had gotten behind them.
Yeah, we've got Morganti's down on the play here, but I mean, you're absolutely right, Jim. They brought Regan across the formation in motion and just had him run a continuous wheel route right down the sideline. He did get behind the defenders, and Day put the ball out there for him. But with the chase of Morganti and Belichick, it was enough pressure to kind of force Regan to know that they were there. He knew that they were there and wasn't able to haul it in.
As we got the stoppage in play here, as Morganti's attended to again, we want to go ahead and just kind of maybe recognize a little bit of what's going on tonight, Dan.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned at the outset about the 19 completions being a record for Marshalik, the counterpart who received a lot of those last week. Now, Jalen Delaney unofficially has broken the single game receptions record for the Red Tornadoes.
My goodness.
He's unofficially currently looking at 14 receptions for 134 yards so far.
Wow. 14 for 134.
It's a good day. It's a good day.
We got a quarter and 2.5 minutes to play. We got 14 minutes of gameplay yet.
Absolutely. A lot more time to add to that. You're right. Could be looking at 20 by the end of the game.
Gombert comes in motion. And now they throw a quick rocket screen to Schultz, but there is a flag over there. Gombert might have turned upfield a second early.
He did. I kind of noticed that Gombert looked like he turned it up early, and then as soon as I looked up at the official, he dropped that one out of his pocket there. So that's going to negate a nice gain, though, from Schultz.
It's tough to get that timing just right.
It is. It is. Especially this early in the season, too.
Well, and again, we think what were the numbers we had from Jose? 4 for 16 at the half?
Yeah.
And it certainly only added to that, but this is a Central Columbia Blue Jay team that only threw it 9 times last week.
Right.
In the whole game, and they had 16 already at the half.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not. Didn't have to throw the ball a whole lot last week.
So that'll bring the ball back to about the 33. 2nd and 15. Blue Jays are more of the same from a formation standpoint. And it's going to be Regan that's Gombert off the right side, and nowhere to go. Good job by that Red Tornado defense. You see Shimko getting up off the bottom.
Yeah, we got another. Do we have another player down? No, okay, all right. I saw the trainers on the field, but they were just hustling over to the other side there.
So now it's 3rd and 15 here on. So this is a big spot for both teams. The Blue Jays want to keep the momentum. The Red Tornadoes would like to get some of it back. Day's going to throw. He's got a clean pocket just wide of Gombert. It was going to hit a long way to go for the first down if it was completed.
Yeah.
So you have to think we'll see Schultz out here to punt again.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Schultz has been huge for the Blue Jays to this point. He has done a fantastic job of punting the football and really flipped the field on the Red Tornadoes a few times.
Kimsel and Delaney back deep for the Big Red. Adams and Lukuski responsible for the Gunners. It's a good snap to Schultz. It's a good punt, but Kimsel's going to have some room. Off his hands, he recovers. It's going to get a big return, but it doesn't matter. There was an early flag on there as a block in the back against the Big Red. So Kimsel's going to get out to about the 49 of the Blue Jays, but that's going to come way back. The flag's around the 25.
Yeah, that's a tough one too because Kimsel, again, had a really nice return set up there. He took a big hit at the end. He wasn't stepping out of bounds. He saw what he wanted to do and he put his shoulder down and ran into, it looked like 2 Blue Jay defenders there and took a stick, but it's going to go all the way back.
I'm watching this game, and you can't always see, all the things that are happening in the trenches. That's really hard. And, you try to give the offensive, defensive lines as much credit as you can, but sometimes it's hard to see what's going on in there. But this has been a particularly physical game on the edges.
Yeah.
You watch the receivers, the corners, the backs, and the safeties. There's just been a lot of hard hits, hard running that's going on there.
Yeah, and good blocking too on both sides. It seems like everybody's doing a good job just doing their job.
And there's Kricki now. And Kricki does a good job getting out across the 25 to the 29 for a first down, and it looks like Chipoleski's down for the Blue Jays. So while they check on Chipoleski, we'll take an opportunity again. We talked about it a little bit in the first half, but just a friendly reminder, we want to talk about the Red Tornado Legacy Brick Project, right? The 6-foot water jet Red Tornado in the south end zone there. It's surrounded by the 4 by the 8-inch bricks. You got to get one. If you don't have one yet, you want to get one. Again, you can get the 4 by 8-inch bricks or a 12 by 12-inch block. You need to get those orders in prior to October 1st because, as some of you can imagine, they're not going to put any new bricks in over the winter. So if you missed the October 1st order, you got to probably wait until spring, maybe even late spring. You say, well, how do we order that? Easy. Go to redtornadofootball.com, scroll down past the picture of Dan and I. On the right-hand side, there'll be a picture of the brick project. Click the link there, go through, fill out your information, get your brick ordered. And a reminder, the proceeds from any brick that you order, from the whole project, it goes back to the general upkeep of the stadium. So you buy that brick, you buy that block, it's a single purchase, but it really does double duty for you because you get to be part of the Silver Bowl. You get to have a thing that you can show your family and friends that you've got here at the gathering spot there in that south end zone. but then you're contributing to the upkeep of the Silver Bowl. So it's a win-win. Make sure you get out there and get those orders in before October 1st. 1st and 10, Red Tornadoes. Kricki right up the middle, and he takes a shot from Zeislov, but Kricki pops right up as he does.
Yes.
It's 1st and 10 at the 40.
Yeah, I mean that's a great run, and it seems like all that work on the outside to Delaney on the last drive has kind of opened things up in the middle for Kricki at this point.
And that's 3 straight for Kricki, and we'll have to see where they mark it down, because it might be 3 straight first downs.
And I can see Tate Adams on the outside giving one of the twisting his finger. I know that you guys can't see me, so I'm showing Jimmy twisting his finger around, saying, "Let's run it again. Keep running it."
So it'll be 2nd and a yard, and the Red Tornadoes get a first down there as the Blue Jays jump. Now the Blue Jays, that's the first one I've seen. I think the Blue Jays protest a little bit.
Yeah, they're pointing on that one.
Yep. But nevertheless, the officials saw it one way, and that'll move the ball into Central Columbia territory, and a first down for the Red Tornadoes at the 46-yard line.
Well, Jim, that's one of the games inside the game, the offensive line versus the defensive line.
4 straight to Kricki, not as successful this time, as it looks like that was big number 57, Cole Hummer, in there, who'd had about enough of that.
Yeah. It seemed like the Blue Jays kind of tightened things up a little bit more there, which again, that is the desired result.
Yep, and that is the end of the 3rd quarter. So after 3 quarters of play, it's 22-10 Red Tornadoes here at the Silver Bowl in week 2 of the 2024 season.
Yeah, and Jim, while we have a second here, I just want to give a quick shout out to a longtime listener, first-time caller. No, the longtime listener, one of my coworkers, Rich Zagarsky. I know he's out there probably watching the game. Hope you're doing all right, Rich. And wanted to make sure I got your shout out that you were asking for last week. I got you, buddy.
Do you think in the world of podcasts, there's a decent number of folks out there watching that don't get the long-time, first-time reference because they didn't grow up on sports talk radio?
Could be. Yeah. So I mean, I won't explain because I just won't.
Okay. So as we start the 4th quarter here, the Red Tornadoes will have a 2nd and 9. Again, the ball's right at the 45. They lead the Blue Jays 22-10. And what has, again, been a physical, if at times sloppy matchup between these two teams.
Yeah. And again, this is now, as I was mentioning as the quarter ended there, it seemed like the Red Tornadoes got the desired result. The Blue Jays are pinching now to stop the run. And Kricki just fighting for extra yards there.
Well, and interestingly enough, so the Red Tornadoes are – Marshall's going to hand that to Kricki off the right side for about a gain of 6. But if you notice, Dan, number 21, Parker Day, the quarterback, who's also doubles as an outside linebacker, he was coming pretty quick off the edge there.
Yes, he was.
And now Kricki's got a first down, and Kricki also has wheels and a Red Tornado touchdown. 39 yards. 28-10 Mount Carmel.
And there's the tornado siren, a new addition this year, Jim. I kind of like that. But that's a phenomenal drive there by the Red Tornadoes, all on the ground. You know, Marshall has thrown the ball a tremendous amount. You know, we talked about the record set already by Delaney. So it's nice to give him a little break and have success doing it. You know, it's a great drive. Work some clock, but not a whole lot because they were moving the ball at will.
Now that's going to be on the Red Tornadoes. It looked like the offensive line there moved early. So it'll add 5 yards to Shoppy's kick. Last time Shoppy tried to kick, the snap was a little bit low, and Adams hit Belichick for the 2-point conversion. But Kricki's touchdown, his 2nd of the night. The first was 19 yards. This one a little bit longer at 39. It's a high snap, but Belichick does Adam does a good job getting it down. And Shoppy does a good job of driving it through.
He drilled
and that was going to be good from a long way away.
Yeah, that one, Jim, I know we've probably made this reference before, but that one really might be an Atlas.
It was a heck of a kick. Again, you see Shoppy bouncing around there on the sideline, a little hitching his giddy up.
We'll see him drive this one deep here inside the 10. The kickoff.
11:31 remaining here at the Silver Bowl. Now 29-10 Mount Carmel. Red Tornadoes look for their defense to get a stop and get the ball back in the hands of that offense that I think it's safe to say, Dan, for the first time this season, really looked like it was rolling on the ground only.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I think they've had some good drives where there's a little bit of everything, but that was, I mean, and really it was all Cooper Kricky.
Yeah.
And when you see those plays and you see his speed in the open field, it just, again, reminds you of all the ways Coach Derrick tries to get him the football, whether it's kickoff returns. We saw last week the wheel route and some of those like halfback swings to try to get to him because he is explosive in the open field.
That's the perfect word to use. That's the first word that popped into my head was he's explosive. He's able to really he's electrifying. You know, you get him in and we got a stoppage here.
A little wind there, blew the ball off the tee.
Need a little wind here.
Bluejays back to
Tommy boy.
Yeah. Bluejays back to just Tanner Regan. Oh, that was a mistake.
Oh.
Wasn't by design for just Regan to be back there.
All right.
Good. We were right about Shoppy. That's all the way down to the 2-yard line. Regan's going to try to bring it back. Ben Miller, Max Koricki, Clokus.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody.
He's going to get past the 20, but he's going to pay for that. And you know, he had all those guys pinching from the outside. The Red Tornadoes do such a good job hemming that in. Like, wherever you want to go, you can go there. We're not going to let you get out.
Right. So now the Blue Jays down 3 scores at this point with 11:25 to go. Need to try to answer the Red Tornadoes here and start the road back.
Looking at that replay there, Morgani was in there as well. He's always around the ball on kickoff.
Parker Day hands it off to the right side to Ty Regan, who does a nice job staying upright, but there's too many red jerseys there. Lukuski, Kimzel, Bailey, Sheganowski. How many red jerseys do you want to call out, Dan? They were all there.
Yeah, that's usually when we employ the host of Red Tornadoes. You know, the entire defense was near the football at least.
Those are the ones too where I don't envy Jose. Trying to figure out where that started.
No, because you can only break a tackle up so much. I think
Day's gonna. It's a sprint draw to Reagan. But again, the Red Tornadoes do a good job of staying home.
And the way that's done too, I mean, that's like a recipe for disaster sometimes, because Day is rolling to his left and he hands that ball behind him with his right hand to hand it off. It seems like a one little mishap there, but I mean they've ran it to perfection to this point. They've done a really, really good job of and they've had success on that play.
And a timeout by the Blue Jays, and we talked a little bit about the Red Tornadoes kind of finding their rhythm running the football on that last drive, especially. And I think when the game ended last week, and Jose shared with us the stats.
Yeah.
And the Red Tornado rushing game, I think, had netted 0 yards. Precisely 0. We had kind of asked into the ether, knowing that Jose would hear us and
eventually,
and help, right?
Yeah.
When's the last time that happened? And it'd been over a decade.
Yeah.
You said 2013 was the last time the Red Tornadoes had a game with maybe as low rushing stats as that.
Yeah, 2013 it happened twice, and it has not happened since then, which is pretty crazy to think.
So if you were out there like us thinking that was an anomaly, you were right. It was something that hadn't been seen in almost 11 years.
Yeah.
But so we had that on one side last week, and now this week here we have, unofficially of course, Delaney breaking the single game reception record.
Yeah. Yep. It's been and there may be another record broken when the clock hits 0.
Reagan will pick up a first down. They're out to the 35. And yeah, I think we haven't really covered that a lot. But,
No, we have not.
You know, again, the Red Tornadoes certainly going for win number 900 here. It's the third opportunity to do so. Maybe the first program in Pennsylvania to do so. And there's a whole lot that goes along with that. I mean, I think Jose was kind enough to kind of give us some updates, and I think one of the most interesting things is on the Win 800. I wasn't super close to that, but I know somebody who was, and he's standing next to me right now.
Yeah, Jim, I didn't do a whole lot in that game, but that was in 2011 against
That's very
Shikellamy.
honest.
Yeah, but I did.
Well, hold on here,
Yeah.
Reagan.
Wow.
Does a nice job, Regan, getting into Red Tornado territory for another first down.
Yeah, really good run there by Reagan. But Jim, I was on that team 2011. Game was at Shikellamy. I believe it was a 35-14 victory for the Red Tornadoes. I didn't do a whole lot in the game, but I did get my picture in the paper for just signaling we got the ball when we recovered a fumble at one point. So that's my connection to the 800th win.
Is you knew the Red Tornadoes had recovered.
Yes, we had recovered at that point.
Fair enough. And Daig's going to throw. That's a deep drop. It's got to be a screen, but it's not there. Kimsel read it right away. Daig tries to come upfield, and there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, I think was that Kimsel and Karicki that converged on Daig there for the tackle then as well?
I believe so. And Kimsel did a great job of just toughing it out over there. And
he gets up slow
there, too. He
there,
kind of took a shot in the back as he was moving forward, but it's going to bring up 2nd and 11. So you talked about 800. 700 was a little bit before that. That was in year 2000 over Marion Catholic. That was 47-6, and that was also away.
And that was a state championship year, Jim.
Yes.
The year 2000. And I just want to point out that the 800th win in 2011 was a district championship year.
Was that the last district championship?
Yes, it was.
It was, yeah.
Yes, it was. So these, the Red Tornadoes out there on the field, they get 900. It seems like you hit that 100 mark, you're in for some more winning later on in the season, and I hope that's the case for this year's Red Tornado team.
Now, one thing that's making me feel a little bit old, if we're being honest, is the recognition that I think every single kid out there on both sides would not have even been alive for that 700 win.
Yeah, that is definitely
on
dating ourselves a little
Daig's
bit.
Throwing, he's looking for Gombert. It's incomplete. So now it's 4th down, and I think with 7:44 left, the Blue Jays are going to have to go for it.
Yeah, and that was incomplete due to the coverage in the defensive backfield, and I think the presence of Ben Miller kind of sitting in his zone in the middle there. They had to kind of put that out in front of Gombert more than he would have wanted to.
Now the Blue Jays are going to punt this one, allegedly, I'll say.
Yeah.
It just seems you're in Red Tornado territory. You're down 3 scores with 7:44 to go. And Schultz is going to punt it away. He's going to punt it in Kimsel's direction. Kimsel will field it cleanly. He's going to try to use his speed, and he does, and oh boy, he's got some space. Get a good block, another good block, and now Kimsel's going to go. And there's no flags on the field. That's going to be a 90-yard punt return for Kimsel.
Wow.
That's his, oh my goodness, 90 yards.
What a return.
He came all the way across the field, and the Red Tornadoes return team set up the perfect wall for him to run behind.
And we'll talk about Kimsel again as we did 3 plays prior, when he snuffed out the screenplay and he got up a little bit slow.
Right.
But I don't think he was affected on that punt return there. He got that ball in his hands, and he turned on the jets when he hit that sideline, Jim. There were great blocks to seal that edge for him all around. Great blocks, and nobody blocked in the back. Nobody did a peel back block.
And Shoppy drives another one through, and it's 36-10 Red Tornadoes. And, Dan, we talked about it at the outset. Who were the two guys that in Blessing's absence were going to step up tonight.
Michael Kimsel, Cooper Karicki.
Between them, we've got 3 touchdowns and countless other plays.
Yeah, and a lot of yards. If you're going to count those punt return yards, that's a lot of yardage too.
And don't forget the ones that got called back.
Right.
Because there's a lot of yards there too.
Yeah, but that's what this Red Tornado team has that a lot of people weren't really anticipating coming into the season because of having Blessing, who's kind of more of the bruiser, downhill runner. This is like a track meet out here, Jim. These guys are fast, and they will take you from sideline to sideline and then beat you to the edge. You know what I mean? They are very capable of doing that. It's a tremendous job all around by this speedy Red Tornado offense.
Just a tremendous effort there by all 11 guys in red. And again, I don't mean to kind of harp on this, but we made the point last week about how much these speedy Red Tornadoes can contribute in special teams.
Yes.
And with Gavin Menser taking them out of the game, that's a whole facet of explosiveness and offense and potential points that the Red Tornadoes didn't have last week that they have in spades tonight.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you think about it. The Red Tornadoes get an opportunity to return just half of the kickoffs that they did not return last week.
There's Shoppy. Another kick is going to be Regan at the 8, and he's going to take a shot from Karicki, of course. And he's fired up as he should be.
Yes, he should be. But yeah, I mean, let the Red Tornadoes return 3 of those kickoffs last week, or a couple of those punts that Menser skied so high that they had to fair catch all of them. Yep. You know what I mean? And maybe the outcome of that ball game is different.
Yeah, let's start one drive in front of the 20, right?
Yeah,
anything like that. Now with 7 minutes and 44 seconds left in the fourth quarter, the Blue Jays had 4th and 10 around midfield and opted to punt. And just a mere 27 seconds later, they now trail by another touchdown, and they have the ball inside the Red Tornado 25. Or excuse me, their own 25. And we'll back it up a little bit there as there was some motion on the Central Columbia side.
Yeah, all over on the Central Columbia side, it seemed.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see, again, how this Red Tornado defense holds up here. And if a similar situation happens, a fourth down, not super deep in your own territory as the clock continues to wind down, do you decide to go for it then?
And one thing I want to talk about here as we start to tick down the minutes and seconds here is above the press box here where we stand is perhaps the most iconic vision in the area as the handoff goes to, I believe is that Regan again? I thought that might have been.
I think.
Yeah, I think it was Huntington.
No, it's
Gombert, 25,
yeah.
Okay. 25, 26, 28, sometimes they're messy. But above the press box on the home side of the bleachers here at the Silver Bowl is the iconic lit up numbers indicating, how many wins the storied Red Tornado program has. And we were kind enough, we got some information on kind of where that came from and what that's all about. And I think it's kind of interesting to share that. So we'll do that over the next few minutes. Day goes up the middle to Ty Regan, nowhere to go.
Yeah, and he gets stopped up pretty quickly there.
But Cody York tells us that the sign was a brainchild of his dad, Bob York, as Bob wanted every visiting opponent to drive into town and stare at the number of wins MCA had as the winningest team in the state. I totally get that. I respect that. And it was meant to be intimidating for us and a reminder to the town of the greatness the Tornadoes represent and the history. It's a constant sign, and he intended the pun there.
Yeah.
It's a constant sign of where the Red Tornadoes came from and where they're headed as an elite program. It started just before Win 700, and Cody was able to be there to change it. His classmates John Halkovic and Gary Hawanik were there as well. And that's Tanner Regan. And Tanner does a good job of staying on his feet. He'll have a first down. But they were involved and helped pay for it and went through that whole thing. And Cody was here for 100 and changed it with his dad. Unfortunately, Cody's dad, Bob, had passed away a few years ago. And so Cody said he would be here for 900.
that's pretty cool, Jim. Think that, that could be happening in, 5.5 minutes here. That's going to solidify that 900th win. And just continue the storied tradition.
Yep. There's Ty Regan again, still on his feet.
Wow.
And oh my goodness, now can Kimsel catch him? He's not going to get it. Regan ran through some arm tackles, stayed on his feet, and it's now 36-16 with 5:08 left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, that's a phenomenal job by Regan, and it's not the first time that we've seen him, kind of bounce off some tackles and spin out of stuff. That he's just a tough runner. He stays low to the ground. He stays, keeps his shoulders square, and he runs hard, Jim. I mean, it's 2 hands on the ball until he breaks into space. Back 2 hands on the ball, spins out of a tackle, and then shows that he's got some speed to go along with that bruising running that he does.
The Blue Jays trail by 20 at this point. Looking to opt to go for 2 here to cut it to 18. So they move the ball to the left hash.
Assuming they're going to go for 2. Yeah, you did.
So
yeah, I think they're going to go for 2, Jim.
Schultz split out to the right. They bring Tanner Regan in motion. Day's going to throw. He's under pressure immediately. And he floats it to the, and it's intercepted by Shimko. Now at the high school level, that ends the play, but Big 77 would have loved nothing more than to try to take that about 95 yards the other way for 2 if it was college rules.
yeah, that would have been awesome, but it's a good job by the Red Tornadoes, just making sure they did not allow that conversion there. They did a really nice job putting pressure on Day. Just not letting him get away, because he's shown that he's able to kind of evade in the backfield there, step up in the pocket. He's ran the ball well himself when he's had to, but a good job hemming him in and making him throw that ball a little errantly there.
But another cool thing, to the story about the sign above the press box, we did get confirmation that Cody York is in attendance here, and so if the Red Tornadoes are able to maintain this lead and hang on for the next 5 minutes and 8 seconds, we'll be able to kind of go through that and enjoy that experience. I think, Cody had said too that his dad, Dan, he had a metal fabricator build the sign up there, and it weighed so much. And when they first arrived, they had to use a truck with a pulley to try to pull it up with a rope. And it was just a funny experience because it was so heavy it didn't work. They couldn't do that. So they ended up needing a crane to get it up there.
Wow.
But that's the same, that kind of commitment is all over Red Tornado.
And that's what I was thinking, Jim. Just the wherewithal. I mean, to love this, this school district so much and want to do something so much, the lengths that people will go.
And now the Blue Jays opted for the onside kick, and I'm waiting for a signal. They seem to think they may have recovered it. But I believe the Red Tornadoes have.
And
no, there it is. I'm sorry. I thought it was pointing the other way.
Have it. And the defense is going to head back out there.
Well, okay now. So you get a great replay there. That's a perfect onside kick.
It really is,
It
Jim.
took the 2 little hops and the big third one, got over that front line. And the Blue Jays, the Johnny on the spot, and it's 1st and 10 at the Red Tornado 43. And Day's going up top right away. He's looking for Zeisloff, but it was too far.
Yeah, I mean, that's the downside for the Blue Jays at this point, is that Day has not had a whole lot of time to throw the ball throughout the game. And now he's going to need to let his receivers get out into these deep routes. So he's going to kind of have to just throw it out there and let them go get it. Which doesn't always work out well.
It's number 4, Geedy, Split out to the left. Day going to go back and give it to Regan. He's going to be upended, and sorry, that's Gomber and it's Belichick. Lukuski finishes it off, but Belichick trips him up in the backfield.
And that's a great play by Belichick. It seems like to this point, at least, all those slip tackles have kind of gotten into the Red Tornadoes defense head. We're not going for the waist or the chest anymore. We're aiming for the knees and the ankles, and that's what's going to take these guys, these big, tough running backs down.
3rd and 14, 4.5 left here. Red Tornadoes lead 36-16. Day hands it off to Tanner Regan. And Clokus, what a play!
Wow.
Clokus came from inside and he ran Regan down from behind on that reverse. It's going to be 4th and 15.
That's an incredible play by Clokus. You're right. He came from, it looked like the left side of the defense and ran that play all the way down. Credit to the rest of the Red Tornado defense for stringing that out long enough for Clokus to be able to chase it down.
Fourth down, 3:40, and Coach Dara is going to use one of his 3 timeouts. Make sure the defense is set just the way he wants them.
Yeah, I mean, this 4th down play here, if the Red Tornadoes are able to get a stop, can be the one that kind of seals the deal for the Red Tornadoes. So I like Coach Dara using his timeout, making sure everybody gets to take a deep breath, collect themselves, make sure everybody's where they need to be to get this stop here.
And we were talking about all the things going on at the stadium tonight. It'd be unfortunate if we didn't recognize that we're also welcoming Mount Carmel area class of 1969 here tonight. They're celebrating their 55th class reunion. Some of the folks of that class that you might recognize some names if you're still local or were local. Dr. Jeff Greco, still a team physician. Dr. Mike Menapace, a longtime Mount Carmel teacher, Trina Lashinsky. Miss Lashinsky, I'm sorry. I don't mean to call you Trina. It still feels weird. Mrs. Lashinsky. And the aforementioned Bob York. Again, Mr. York passed a few years ago, but certainly it's fitting that class would be recognized and honored on the night where the Red Tornadoes are 3.5 minutes away from notching win number 900. And Parker Day, and he's got Geedy incomplete.
Oh, wow.
He had him open and they couldn't connect. And so it's going to turn over on downs. 1st and 10, Red Tornadoes.
I have to say now, obviously the Red Tornadoes were in a deep coverage there, trying to just play. They knew the pass was coming, but credit to, I believe it was Gombert in the backfield, with the blitz pickup on the inside blitzer from the Red Tornadoes from the linebacker core there. He stopped the blitzer in his track and gave Day enough time to lay that one out there. Just a little bit too long for Geedy.
Now the Red Tornadoes look to work some clock and try to put this one away. Marshalik to Kricki. Kricki out across the 45. Nope, Dietz, excuse me. 26 Dietz.
Great run there by Aiden Dietz.
Great run by Dietz. He'll pick up about 9. And as I said, the Red Tornadoes not looking to run clock or jumping right back up on the football. Dietz again. It's a good effort to pick up a 1st down.
Yeah,
Schultz had him behind the line of scrimmage, and Dietz plunged forward.
It's incredible to see all of these Red Tornado running backs, but Dietz especially, just with his a little bit smaller stature. He looks like he's shot out of a cannon, Jim. As soon as that ball's snapped, he gets that first step, and it seems like he's at full speed when he hits the line of scrimmage. It's impressive.
And if once was nice, twice is better, 3 is even better. And it's Dietz for the 3rd time, and that's a Red Tornado 1st down to the 30, about the 33-yard line.
Yeah, the only downside of all these 1st downs is to keep stopping the clock.
The chains aren't even ready yet, and the Red Tornadoes are snapping the ball again. And that's the danger sometimes, is I think the Red Tornadoes have moved a little bit early, or perhaps maybe just weren't set.
Yeah.
And again, as we wind down here, 2:48 left, we want to make sure we thank our sponsor tonight, VFW Post 2110 in Mount Carmel. Said a longtime supporter of all things Mount Carmel. And we thank all of you members for your service. Dietz again off the right side. He does a good job picking his way. Going to get upended there, but he should stay in bounds.
Yeah.
No? I don't know if I agree with that. I think he was in bounds.
I think so too.
I think he got flung out of bounds, sure.
Yeah, but I think the forward progress was stopped.
2:28 left, second and about 15 now. The ball sits at the Blue Jay 38. Cricky in, Dietz out after a very productive set of downs. And there's Cricky. And Cricky weaves his way through, and he's going to kick down, and he's back inside. Oh, my goodness. And now that time the clock will stop for the first down, but it looks like he's out of, I don't know if they're signaling him out of bounds as well.
Yeah, I believe he, I don't know. If Dietz was out, then there's no way Cricky was. There's no way.
And it looks like, so it's Cricky again, that time right up the gut. Nothing fancy about that. Just good hard-nosed football.
Take 8 yards on that run. That every time. That's a great job. And this seems kind of like the Red Tornadoes kind of imposing their will on this drive. You know, really having a lot of success running the ball up the middle on their last offensive set where they went down and scored. So let's just continue to do it and show everybody out there, the other 8 teams that are on the schedule for the remainder of the year, that even without Luke Blessing, the Red Tornadoes still have a run game.
Cricky, another first down. That time he's inside the 5. So the clock is stopped as they set the ball at 1:43. Cricky comes to the sideline. Dietz back in.
Try to get Dietz his 6 points here. I think that's what Coach Dare is trying to do. I like that.
Given the way that Blue Jay defense stacks up, Dietz is going to earn it.
He's close. He's close.
Be about a yard short. Second and goal. Dietz, a 5'8", listed as a 5'8", 170-pound senior. Dietz off the right side, and he's over the end zone. He's in. 42-16 Red Tornadoes on a 1-yard plunge by number 26, Aiden Dietz.
A great job there by Dietz, and a great job on that drive there by the Red Tornado unit on the offensive line. Just the Blue Jays knew that the Red Tornadoes were going to run. The Red Tornadoes offensive line knew that the Blue Jays knew that they were going to run.
Right.
And they still drove the ball down the field in under 2.5 minutes and put 6 points on the board. It's an impressive drive.
Choppy's kick is up, and yet again he is good. 47, that's going to be 47-16. 43, excuse me.
And again, I mean, I can't tell you of any bad days, but this one in particular is a great day to be a Red Tornado here.
Well, you know, we talked a little bit about wins 800, you were part of it, wins 700, that state championship team. And again, because we have the great Jose Gonzalo who helps us out with everything, we can talk a little bit just for those of you curious out there, because you hear about win 800, you hear about win 700, you want to know about win 600.
Yeah.
Well, that was 1990 over Blue Mountain, 25-14. Win 500 was 1978 over Allentown Central Catholic. Remember we used to play ACC?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
That was at home. Number 400, 1968 over Tamaqua, 35-19 on the road. Number 300, 1955 over Pottsville, 25-13, also on the road. Number 200, 1940 over Tamaqua, 20-0, 20-0. Where do you think that one was, Dan?
On the road.
On the road. But win number 100 And we're going to wait for this one. That's what we call a teaser. As Tanner Regan comes up and he picks his way, and he's going to get across the 25.
I think that's Clokus and Kimsel, Jim.
Oof. Those men are having some complete games, aren't they?
Yes, they are. And that was also sophomore kicker Josh Miller kicked that ball off. Shoppy did his thing today, so.
Yep. Now we'll get some wholesale changes here, but because I teased it, I got to finish it. Dan, win number 100 was over Scranton Tech here at the Silver Bowl. It was at home. It was at home. You know what year that happened? 1924, so 100 years ago.
Wow.
Pretty fitting, I think.
Yeah, very fitting, Jim, for sure.
We'll see on the Red Tornado sideline, Dan. You know what we like to do is we start calling out jersey numbers.
Jackson Boblick at the corner. We got a timeout for the Red Tornadoes.
Sometimes that's helpful, sometimes it's not.
Josiah Reno, the late addition there.
Heading in there. I see number 3, Joshua Blessing.
I see number 51, Ryan Bush. 32, Eddie Dye.
88, Jalen Lilly.
88, Jaden Willie. Still got number 60, Jabari Kynes out there. We've seen him throughout.
Is that 54? Is that Azazel Lilly? I see 54. Azazel, excuse me.
Yeah, I also see number 13, Logan Shooter. Gonna see more when they break this huddle here. 53 is Seth Spears. He remains out there.
75, Elijah Rempel.
88, Jalen Lilly. I think you already called him out.
Yep. Did you get 32, Eddie Dye?
Yep. I think we've got them all, Jim.
It's going to be a handoff by the Blue Jays. I think that's number 5.
Yeah.
Yep, that's going to be Aiden Mahamadou, excuse me. Now we got 30 seconds left here at the Silver Bowl.
And we see 11 come to the sidelines. We see 18 check in, Landon Adams. Also see Jalen Lilly come out.
17, Aiden Brokenshire in there as well.
There you go.
What'll likely be the last snap of the game. Tanner Regan keeps it himself off that left side. He's going to get a good push there, but he's going to be stopped. And there are all zeros on the clock. And there's 3 zeros on the clock. There's about to be 2 zeros up above us.
Yes, there
as
is.
the Red Tornadoes can finally flip that 899 to 900. The first program in the state to do so.
Yeah, and a great all-around win for the team this week, Jim. Just, you know, we talked about it. Some missing pieces. Bumps was out this week. Blessings out this week. I mean, we talked about it, mentioned it a little bit last week too, Jim, but the Red Tornadoes have found themselves a stud.
Yeah, but we've got Alyssa down on the sidelines. Not quite yet. We lost Coach Dara there for a second. We'll see if we can get him back. So what a tremendous evening, Dan, here at the Silver Bowl.
Yes, it is. Yes, it has been.
So we talked about what we've seen on the offensive side of the football. Again, no Blessing. So what'd you get tonight? You got 2 rushing touchdowns from Karicki, a rushing touchdown from Bailey, a rushing touchdown from Aiden Dietz, a punt return from Kimsland. Oh, by the way, don't forget, you got a passing touchdown from Marshalik to Adams. And then we've got Alyssa down on the sideline, running to grab Coach Dara, who's kind enough to give us a few minutes of his time. Alyssa, go ahead.
Okay, I am here with Coach Dara. And Coach, how are you and the team feeling after the 900th win here at the Silver Bowl and in general for MCA?
Well, 900's really all that matters. There's a lot of stuff we could clean up, but right now it's all about the, just the history of the program, and it feels great to get to 900.
Alrighty, thank you. Jim and Dan, back to you.
Thanks, Alyssa, for being
Alyssa.
down there. You hear the chaos, the excitement, the fireworks. Again, what an environment here at the Silver Bowl. I'm sorry, folks, if you're not here and you can be, you're missing out. Every Friday night, it is just electric, and none more than tonight where, again, the Red Tornadoes make it 900 program wins. What an unbelievable accomplishment.
Yeah, and we talk about it all the time, Jim. We talk about the storied tradition here in the Mount Carmel area, and it is evidenced by this is an incredible atmosphere, an incredible 900th win, and the tradition, the long-standing excellence amongst this football program.
Every one of those young men and women down there on that field will remember exactly where they were when the Red Tornadoes won their 900th game. And if you don't believe me, like I said before, I've got living proof standing next to me of something that happened over a decade ago.
Yeah, and that one was at Shikellamy. We didn't have the fanfare that we've got here. And here you see.
We got Cody York up there. And there's our own Gavin Lubeski up there getting good photos. Again, we want to thank the WKMC TV crew every night, every Friday night. Just what a tremendous production that's put on for everybody. But wow. Again, it's hard not to get caught up in kind of the pageantry and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, the Red Tornadoes also got out of here with a victory.
Yes, very important. That's credit to Coach Dara, credit to this. I'm going to put a lot of this on the offensive line. The offensive line, the skill guys are the ones that get the credit, all that stuff. But the offensive line today played tremendously, especially missing one of their key pieces in Logan Erb. They did a great job. They opened up holes for these running backs to get that running game back going after being very stagnant last week. And they gave Marshalik a great, clean pocket to really, he's just been phenomenal passing the ball. We actually have some stats from Jose.
Let's hear him.
So we're going to say here we've got 36 rushing attempts for 254 yards.
That's more like it.
19 of 27 for Marshalik, so he matches his record from last week for 206 yards, 26 first downs, Jim. Whew. Now on the opposing side, 40 rushing attempts for 282 yards. I'm sure that's one of the things that Coach Dara talked about. He wants to clean up that run defense a little bit, the tackling. Definitely played a part in those long runs. 4 of 22. So according to Jose, the Bluejays did not complete a pass in the second half, which is phenomenal as well. 4 of 22 for 15 yards, 15 first downs. And I have some Jalen Delaney, 13 for 134. Cooper Karicki, 17 carries for 182 yards tonight.
Wow.
Unofficial. Jose's got to check tape, and we'll put the official numbers out. Moving forward, we'll have those for you next week for sure. But, just, a great night to be a Red Tornado for all the reasons. For all the reasons.
And so as we look ahead at the schedule now, the Central Columbia Bluejays, they're going to be home next week for the first time this season. They started at Midwest. Now they're here at the Silver Bowl. They're against the Executive Education Academy Charter School. So it's a charter school for the Central Columbia Bluejays. And here, the Red Tornadoes, we're going to go on the road again as we did last week. We're going to head out to Mifflinburg. So you make sure you want to catch us out there. But again, I think it's been a great night here. I think it's a good opportunity. I think the celebration's just getting started here.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a long night here at the Silver Bowl, but it's going to be a fun night. But I think it's about time for Dan and I to get out of here. So I'm Jim Lesko.
And I'm Dan Lesko.
And for Jose Gonzalo, this has been a WKMC TV production. We want to thank tonight's sponsor, VFW Post 2110 in Mount Carmel, for their continued support. And we want to thank you for your viewership as we go through and enjoyed the Red Tornadoes defeating the Central Columbia Bluejays by a final score of 43-16. So enjoy the long weekend, the long Labor Day weekend, and make sure you're back with us next Friday night at Mifflinburg. Stay safe and have a great night.